All right, good evening, everybody. I got a new spill. Oh, turn that down. Hey, good evening, everybody. Everybody can hear me, I hope. I got a spill. I've said it once, and I'm going to have to go over it again. So here it goes. Broadcasting live from the command center located in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Military Witnesses to UAP. I am your host, Shannon Scott. And backed by popular demand, located deep in the Missouri woods, my right-hand man, Rob Heatherly. We both have assumed the duties and responsibilities of continuing the conversation. So buckle up, hold my beer, hang on, and let's get this party started with today's briefings. So how you doing this evening, Rob?
Wonderful. Trying
Wonderful.
staying out of the sweltering heat. Trying to keep my new dog from going bananas with all the fireworks going off.
Yeah. Let me turn that off again. So, if the viewers don't know, Rob has a new family member, and let me tell you something. I've seen this breed of dog so many times. Is it a part terrier, by the way?
It's Cur. C-U-R. Cur.
See, you are. This is a beautiful dog, and I tell you what makes it more beautiful is its eyes. I have never seen eyes like that on a dog. They're like almost albino.
Yeah, ice
Yeah, they're
blue.
just good stuff right there. Yeah. So let's take a look at our chat and see who is here. Man, I heard Jonathan Scott had to leave already. Yeah. Oh my gosh. See, he says, let me bring this up. Says he needs to need to get my profile pic locked down or a handlebar. Heck yeah. Hey, I'm 50. What year is it? I'm 51. So I can't even grow a mustache. So I tried. It took me like a year to get something going. Then I had to put some just for men just to make it pronounced. My wife hated it, and she let me know about that like every day. Ain't that right, hon? Yep.
Get that fuzz off your face.
Yeah. She's like, every time she would see me. So I wasn't doing it for her. I was doing it for me. I've never grown a mustache, and yeah, it was a goatee, but it's
Kinda.
almost
Kinda
like
was.
I kind of cheated a little bit by, putting that just for men on it to really get it going. And I think it was down to like here. So, all right. So let's see what else is going on out there. We're going to be bringing in the 4th of July here on the East Coast in another, hour and 10 minutes. So this is Jacksonville. I am not kidding you when I tell you, just behind my fence, we have a big like field, and it belongs to a church. And I don't know if that church knows or not, but every 4th of July and 4th of July evening, there's trucks backed up to my fence line, and they got coolers out, they got chairs out, and they went to phantom fireworks for sure because those folks light it up. What can I do? I good for them. It's at least it's not next to a car or something. It's back that way. My wife's not really appreciative of it. The dogs aren't appreciative of it. The cats aren't appreciative of anything. So, all right. So we've got some stuff. Um, got some stuff we got to share with you this evening, but we're going to see what's on y'all's mind. Is that Linda? Linda never
Yep.
misses our. I don't think she's missed a broadcast yet, even a surprise one like this evening. You notice that? I like
Yeah.
that, Linda. Linda, do you have you have to have notifications? Ding ding ding. Oh, military witnesses to UAP. Oh, Robin Shannon is coming on. Yeah, it's going to be an awesome evening. That's what it is. Okay, let's see. That's right. Like and subscribe, and I appreciate all the new subscribers. I think we got 2 new subscribers since that last show. So, yay for us.
Keep saying it, man. How do we stay so humble?
How do I stay so humble? uh, insane. Yeah, that is insane eyes. Hey Rob, I've got pictures of your little girl there. And next time we're on, we'll show updated photos. All right, of both our everybody likes dogs and cats. I have a cat that I'm not kidding you. I'll be sitting here just doing my thing, and I'm in a gaming chair, right? And I'll have this cat of mine stretch up and he tap me right there on my shoulder, and it just scares the crap out of me. It's like someone, tapping you on your shoulder in the middle of the night. What the heck? Yeah, he'll tap on my shoulder every night.
Is that Bob Perkins?
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Welcome anyway.
Yep, welcome anyway. Let's see. We got, oh, look at there. We got a cat right there, Bill H. Yep. Wait, here's my kitty. My bride, my handler, the hand of Shannon has brought this right here is Cap, C-A-P. Oh, sorry, I pet my wife's nose.
That's the name of my dog. No kidding. That's the name of my dog.
Really? C-A-P?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Capo.
isn't that strange? Oh my gosh. It's actually Steve Rogers. Cap is abbreviation of Captain America. All our animals, except for now Blue here. Let me get rid of your thing. Blue here. Man, you got to check this out. Watch this. Okay, right over there, I got a beagle, and his name is Cooper, and he's tired. It's tiring to be a beagle, living in an air-conditioned environment. And let me show you something really funny here. There's my puppy. He is what we call dog tired. That is one tired-looking puppy right there. Yeah. And he graduated to another collar. The collar that he had was just getting a little too tight. Oh, he's bringing up his puppy.
I tried. She didn't bite me. Come on.
Yeah, she's very yeah.
Skittish.
All right, now you got to look at these eyes, folks. I'm telling you, the camera video does not do it justice, but those are some beautiful eyes right there.
Blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the dog I think is doing 100% better than it was doing. It was hiding all day underneath Rob's bed, and now to the point where Rob takes away a pillow and she yells at him for doing it. So
growls at me. Grumpy. Yeah, I woke up 2 mornings ago. She was no longer under the bed, but sleeping up against me. Hello, times change. Yeah.
Oh, she's look at there. When you told me you tweeted out that we're going on. Look at there. Mm-hmm. Linda says that's how she got the information.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. She goes, hello.
Yeah, she's tripping.
Jenny Comprende. Look at that. I cannot
not
speak
understand.
Yeah, okay.
It says does not understand. That's what that says.
All right. You may be able to get the closed caption of this video later. Is that how that works when you close out a video on YouTube and they process it? They're able to do a closed caption automatically by our, we might be able to translate it to other.
Yeah, and we can enable closed captioning, I think, after the fact. So when we reposted, it's there.
Yep. Look at that. Insane eyes. I'm telling you. Pretty eyes. So today we've had, got to bring up my banner. I'm trying to be the producer and a host here. So here we go. Boom. What's in the news today? Oh, that's a bear song. Bear in the Big Blue House. What's in the news today? That's all I'm going to sing because they'll be hitting me copyright on this video. So yeah, if you know it, you know it, and I know it. My wife definitely knows it, and my son knows it. He's going to be turning 20 this January, and he's autistic, nonverbal, and he has a mind of a 5-year-old, and he is the sweetest man on this planet. I guarantee you. All right, let me Hi, Mikey. Yeah, man. Let me bring up my phone here and get these the show on the road.
I think I got some of your Florida mosquitoes that migrated up here because there's some big ones out there today trying to carry me off when I walked outside. I almost went and got my flamethrower to fight them back in the door.
Here in one part of my stack of things, as one of my favorite talk show hosts used to say, stack of stuff. UFO zooms over U.S. Navy warship faster than any known aircraft, and mass sightings seen by 200 sailors, says witnesses. Yeah, we're going to be going over that.
Mm-hmm.
I also message Dave Beatty about it because this is his story. So we're going to be going over that this evening. Hopefully I can get this link. Rob sent me a link.
Yep, we're willing to throw Dave Beatty a little bone because you know, we're such a big channel. We can do him a solid on that one.
Yeah. They describe him. I like this. Hold on. 1 second. Documentary filmmaker Dave C. Beatty. I like his documentary. Has he done more documentaries than that Tic Tac one you know of? I think he's worked in the field or something. I spoke with him a long time ago when he first made it. I can't even tell you how many years ago that's been. But yeah. So I've actually done a documentary on another channel, and I've made a film, a Western film. So I'm a documentary filmmaker. Yep, I'm going to give myself title of that right there. I'm going to give myself a letter of designation for that. All right, so we'll be talking about that this evening, folks. Oh, also, let me find my phone here. I know we got some more stuff here. It's on my phone. Here it is. It fell. Oh, everybody notices my awesome 4th of July weekend shirt here. My wife got it for me. There you go. You got the R2 there. And on this side, a little Millennium Falcon going on. Yep. Oh, stand by. I got a VIP text message from somebody.
I think we have you roll that shirt and smoke it.
Yeah. I just got a text message from that person I told you that I text messaged, and you said it was cool.
Yeah,
I just got a good. Yeah. I told Richard what basically about the I called the album Leroy's album because us having that last broadcast, I was howling. I woke my wife up. I was laughing so hard, I almost passed out. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time, and
that's what it's about, man.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. About Leroy, and you see, Leroy had one job, folks. If y'all missed the last episode, we were going over UAPs and versus trains. Possibility the UAP may have been on the losing end on that one.
Yeah,
it did damage. What was it? Kentucky? Was this happened in what year and what location?
2002, was it Kentucky? Somewhere in
2002.
Deep woods of the Appalachians.
Yep. Yeah, they bunch of they call it the Wild Kingdom or something. They just see wild animals all over the place at that location, and they were coming around a bend, and they thought there was another train on the other tracks. What do? Even when you're driving, you turn down your brights.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't turn down their brights, folks. And it looked like Leroy behind the helm of that thing. His only job was to make sure you don't run into, mountains. And, well, he didn't see this train coming.
Mm-hmm.
Get my composure because I'll
Yeah.
bust out
There's
laughing.
only 3 per craft. 2 were looking in the water with a spotlight down below in the river.
Yeah.
And
they were.
he must have been drinking his hooch and not watching the road.
Yeah, we were talking about, hey, what's this big bright light and this woo woo? Man, that was hilarious.
Don't go toward that light.
How fast did that train hit that UFO? About 45 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour?
Yeah, about 35.
Man, at that speed, folks, a train hit you at 35.
16,000 tons of coal. That's some heavy steel.
Now, what do we know from this case? We'll talk a little bit about it. It damaged 2 engines. You got they're in tandem in the front, and some cars. It damaged a few cars. So it went across the top and just looked like it was smashed
like a meteorite struck the back 3.
Yeah.
Back 2 coal cars and the back engine got completely obliterated in the 2 coal cars.
That's right. Oh, by the way, folks, this is we're talking about case number 4 anyway. This is this is all case 4 stuff, okay? So you got to remember your cases. We'll go over the real quick too. Okay, so after that, they're reporting to headquarters saying, hey, we just hit something. And they reported to right here where I live, Jacksonville, Florida. And I'm going to be writing a nice little letter, and I'm going to give it to their public relations, and hopefully we can get some answers. But there's a really good timeline on what happened. And those quick responding folks that look like, hey, I wouldn't be surprised it was DOE again with Chinooks with SUVs in it and all the gear they need for something like this so they can be there. I could tell you by going in and looking at the timeline, I could tell you how fast they got there. Right. So, they got there.
Could have been OSI hanging out with them too.
Yep. They took that train off the track and moved it over like 3 spots, right? And they set up tents, spotlights. By the time they got to where they were they were interviewed, not to say anything. It's for national security reasons. No non-disclosure agreements. But I guarantee you, whoever this entity was made a phone call to Jacksonville and say, hey, this is so and so, and we need you to on this. So we could probably tell by the response I get from CSX once I send off this letter of inquiry. All right. So by the time they got their cell phones taken, and they actually went to another location, and they had to go back, and guess what? It was all gone. All gone.
Yeah,
all disappeared. So there's some looking into we need to do. I think we need to find out the train engine numbers on those, which I bet we could find out. Hopefully it'd be really cool if a CSX retired person was listening in and knows something. Just a little puzzle piece to fit in this puzzle we're putting together. I love getting things lined up and figuring things out.
One of the articles had a train car in it that they were.
Yeah. I wonder where. It'd be interesting to know if they just moved, if there was like a connection to move that train and have it put on a different rail. I don't know the situation there, but it'd be interesting. All right. So trains and UAPs is case 4. There's several cases in case 4. There's one in Russia. That's a crazy one with witnesses. And did I go over? I went over another one too from the 1950s, I think, didn't I? 1950 something.
Yep.
We'll figure.
Hey,
Folks, UAPs and trains. Number 4. Number 3 is just think of Independence Day. Think about 4th of July. Independence Day, as in the movie with Will Smith. We actually had craft. That's video was taken at different locations. And this craft was above the Pentagon. Remember what year that was, Rob?
I think in the
Off the top of your
90s,
head?
late 90s, I think. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. I think it's. I don't think. I think that the and the other location of this craft. It looks like a. Sometimes it looks like a pyramid, and other times it looks like a what, Rob?
Decahedron.
Decahedron. Yep, that's a word that I normally don't have in my vocabulary. Hey, that looks like a decahedron.
Yeah, that just came to my mind right when I saw it too. Not.
Yep.
We're geniuses.
I know, right? So, there it is. Case 3, craft above the Pentagon and over Russia's. Where was that craft over in Russia? Over the Kremlin. Right. Number 2 will be the Peru incident. There was a crash, UAP crash in Peru in like 93, 94 time period. Some Marines went to secure it thinking it was a friendly crash. Turned out to be something from out of this world, folks. And our Marines were very badly treated by some individuals that we are suspecting are DOE and contractors through DOE that had the powers of powers to apprehend anyone. And they abused it, and they tormented these guys, made them sign DOEs, threatened their lives, folks. And I don't take that so kindly. We're going to be getting into that a lot more in the future, I think. Case number 1 is the USS John F. Kennedy in 1971. There was a craft above it. I found this out because I served on that ship twice, 2 different periods in my career, of a 20-year career. And then I basically found out that it may have really happened. And I did my research, and not too long ago, I actually put a link to a video into the John F. Kennedy Veterans Facebook page where I got a response that someone was right there and they saw the whole thing. So I was able to interview this individual. So I got it all, I got witnesses. It really did happen. And the other thing is our friend Dave Beatty from the Nimitz UFO encounters. He did a great illustration of those Tic Tacs that you'll see on TV all the time. That should be I haven't seen anyone do a better job than Dave, right? But he, let's see if I can bring that up. That goes right into this story right here, folks. So we're going to be adding a little bit more to case number 1. This is what Dave actually reported not too long ago on his YouTube channel was that there was on the USS Ronald Reagan, there was the same shaped and color orb going on, checking out the Ronald Reagan not too long after the commissioning. And that also goes for the John F. Kennedy, not too long after commissioning. And the location where this was all going on was the same location. This was right off the coast of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So
and the thing
pretty
about
amazing things
with the orbs, with NARCAP, Ted Rowe on their website. They've got 57 cases of pilot reports of orbs where they had temporary electronic system failure. That's the only craft that reports, the only type of UAP that reports system failure temporarily, and they knocked out the power on the carriers temporarily too. So that's consistent with his reports that can be queried off his website as well. So that helps substantiate it even more.
Yeah, the story with John Kennedy in 1971 was late July, and the once the score of the teletypes. Stand by. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm. And we have Bob Berkins in the house with a wrench.
I'm glad I'm going slow. I don't want to mess up like I did the other night. Like 2 hours went by of me talking, and you were doing something else, and Shannon, no one can hear you. Yeah, we like I said, the shows will get better as time goes on, folks. So about the John F. Kennedy, the teletypes went haywire, communications went down, power went down, a sailor went crazy. He had to be sedated, unfortunately. He thought he was seeing God. And the ship went to general quarters. The ship was DIW, dead in the water, folks. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, tell these non-vet folks what general quarters means.
General quarters is battle stations. I saw, let's see if I can remember. General quarters, all hands man your battle stations. Set conditions, either throughout the ship, blah, 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 blah. There's a verbiage on the quarterdeck, or it's not even going to be on the quarterdeck. It's going to, unless we're attacked in port, right? It's going to be up on the bridge where the bosun's mate of the watch, which I used to be a bosun's mate. He will basically just hit that alarm. He's got verbiage, and he hit the alarm again and hit the verbiage, and everyone's scattering. They got to get to their area of responsibility. They have to start dogging down doors, shutting off valves, hitting, there goes your ventilation. So it's going to get hot like a quick. Man, I love air conditioning, folks. And any of you guys ever been on a ship that had boilers? You know what I'm talking about. Hot. Like, just leave the asbestos in there, man. It's hot. Oh my God. A lot of respect for all the engineers. Man, they come up just drenched. Oh God. A lot of respect for the guys working down there in the engine room. So when you get to your general quarters, it's basically you're fighting the ship in case the ship is hit by something that will damage it. Maybe some, let's say 50 cal rounds. You got to plug it in. You got to plug those holes. They're going to shoot below the water line and try to sink you. But we're putting in our, we got mallets, right? Big hammers, and we got these plugs. We'll plug them up. Or if it's hit by, unfortunately, if it's hit by like a missile, with like the Stark, I served. Yeah, I served with people who were on the Stark. In 1997, I joined. No, 1987. I joined in '89, and I remember there was a damage controlman second class on the USS Doyle with me, and he lived through that nightmare that that happened on that ship. The memorial's right there on the base. Breaks my heart. Anyway, yeah, that's general quarters. All right. So the ship was went through general quarters, and the ship, the crew were told by the captain over the even back in the 1970s, they had like you can watch like TV, and you can on a Saturday night or something, they might have bingo or something, closed circuit TV, right? So the captain apparently came on in 1971 and told the crew that whatever you see and whatever happens out at sea stays out at sea. That conversation happened with my witness in the captain's stateroom during the 8 o'clock reports. And the captain told my witness, "Oh, you enjoy the light show last night? You know, whatever you see, you got to keep it to yourself, right? Yeah, okay, all right." So, yeah, that really happened, folks. Okay, so Ronald Reagan happened. I communicated with Dave Beatty what was going on. So, before I start reading and boring everybody to death here, let's go over some of any good. Yeah, that looks like Bob Birkin's there.
Yes, it is.
Let's see. Yes. Happy almost 4th. Let's see what time it is. It is. Wait, we got another like 43 minutes here in Jackson on the East Coast here. Yeah. We got Geezer. Oh, that's Geezer. Hi, Geezer Prime. Oh, by the way, I saw Geezer. I saw that I accepted your friend's request on Xbox, my friends. So whenever you and I get some time together, we'll go kill some people. Okay, go on a shooting spree on Battlefield 2042, and it's kind of they take all the games all the way back to 1942. Yeah, good times. Coming around the bend, yeah. Absolute independence, but no man is on and on. Yep. Test complete. Johnny Cash. Hi, Bob. Kinetic energy. Yeah. Oh, man. I wonder if Leroy got in trouble that night.
Yeah, after they pulled his wreck.
Yeah, pulled his claws right off of that. Dude, you had one job, man. Just one job. Yeah. No new news on the charity. On the charity front there, I'm going to be going to Wounded Warrior Project probably sometime early this week and telling them what's going on and how can they help me. I'm sure they got ideas on what I need to do to make life much easier. Been there, done that. That's what I'm thinking they're going to tell me. So make life a lot easier instead of trying to reinvent the wheel here. Good evening.
Passing out wrenches and taking names.
Yep. Yeah, Bob just gets a single Bob Birkins here. Just Bob Birkins. Yep. No, nothing filtered. My wife may come and hit me upside my head. It's the only kind of filter I have. And my wife has also told me to lower my voice because you should be able to hear me just fine at this level. Can you hear me at this level?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I have to project myself, she says, and wake her up. Don't want to wake her up. It says there's been quite a few jetliners that have had a head-on collision with UFOs, smashing the nose cone right in. Yeah, I think I've seen a picture like years ago of that. That's what someone was theorizing. But with stuff like that, I always try to be devil's advocate. I'm just, I could be totally wrong. Maybe it was a Canadian goose. I don't know. I've seen that picture though. Interesting. Yep. The man. Let's see. Bali. Yep. All right. Well, everyone's just being very nice toward one another here. No hate and discontent around.
Yep. No drama.
Yeah. No.
No
That's look. There is I gotta tell you guys a policy of mine. I told Rob this story probably a few times that I have like no drama in my life. No mama drama, my my baby mama drama, that type of stuff. I don't have any of that stuff. None. I don't with with my health. I don't have time for that. Right. Only have so much time in the day, and that stuff is so petty to me that my policy is no drama. Right. So we'll just carry on.
You've cheated death more times than I have, and that's saying a lot.
I know. Yeah.
Yep. Go. Yep.
Yeah, I love information too. Yeah, go ahead, man. What kind of coffee you drinking? Is it black or you
Jet
put
black.
sugar and cream? Jet. Okay,
hell no.
good. Yeah.
I got the coffee
I'm gonna have
grounds
to
on the
go get
bottom
you.
black. It's so black I can cut it with the scissors.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yes, Bob has power. He's got the power. Okay, electricity. Golly.
yeah, it's black. Yeah, imagine that, YJ. We have a surprisingly good audio, and we don't spend inordinate amount of time tweaking our electronics because we don't have a clue how to do that.
Yeah.
We just let it rip.
Hello, paranormal world.
Are we gonna?
I'm still going over the see if anybody had any questions. Says
I haven't seen any. They did that one asked that the weapons, the temporary electronics failures were with anything modern. I think so, because it's not a matter of a Faraday cage that's protecting it like from a lightning strike would. It seems like some of these had temporary systems failures that over 50 miles out from it. If I read correctly, remembering correctly from NARCAP, it almost seems like it's drawing the electrons from the air, stripping it out, kind of like a massive ground, to where it's pulling the electrons out of the aircraft electronics, causing it to fail. And it would probably be the most vulnerable to get to go down first. Not to say they can't target electronic systems, because they did on that 76 fighter jet in Iran.
It was a F-4 Phantom.
Yeah.
Previously owned by the Americans.
They were allies at the time.
Yeah, they're allies back then. They can buy our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I made during my 5 years, I was in the closet doing my research. Just enjoyable reading stuff. Let's see what's in the news today, or what can I dig up out of the internet about this phenomenon. And I can't find it now, of course. But the pilot that was in that F-4 Phantom, he did a painting. And I've noticed this too, that people who have experiences, some of them paint what they saw. It's almost like a therapeutic thing. So anyway, his painting looked a lot like a video that I think everybody has seen. There's a test range that there's footage of a UFO going all over the place, and they're like, "What is that? Is that a helicopter?" It's kind of like black and white. If anybody knows, put it in the comment section. But if you take a look at that painting, and then you take a look at that still, there's one thing that really sticks out in my mind is that there was like two like orbs here and two orbs here underneath. There was four, and they had like what it is. I think it's space time metrics is warping around the craft, and they're able to manipulate. They can even probably cloak the craft somewhat. That's why I think a lot of times that people will report that this craft is shape shifting, right? My theory is that the craft is the illusion is that they're warping the space-time metrics around this craft, and you're seeing an illusion. It's not really what's there. So I think that's a good explanation. Yep. Let's see. I got some. I still working about the limit on yours. Yep. Oh, let me tell you guys something. So I don't have a UFO story. I have a secondhand UFO story. I know people who've told me this, and they've been told, excuse me, by someone else, and the rumor's been going around the ship for like 30 years, right? And I heard it twice, the two times I served on board that ship. And that's as close as I come to a UFO. Apparently, they were off the coast here of Jacksonville. I've been in Mayport almost 20 years of my military service. And besides going to, the Middle East for a year, and I went to Guantanamo for a bit. But the whole time, all these ships out here in Mayport, I didn't see anything. And none of the lookouts saw anything. However, I do have a UFO joke. And when there's like no news, I'm going to tell you guys what I think is one of the best UFO pranks in the world. So stay tuned for that. All right, let's get back to Dave Beatty's article here. This was sent to me today. Thank you, darling. This was sent to me today by Rob Heatherly. He sends me everything. Everything I find, I kind of send to him. UFO zoomed over U.S. Navy warship faster than any known aircraft in mass sightings seen by 200 sailors, says witness. I'm telling you, that's a lot of witnesses. That must have been a carrier, I wonder, huh? Mm-hmm. People up on that flight deck, in the control tower, on the bridge with the officer of the deck, the conning officer, probably have the navigation officer, the quartermaster, the helmsman, Lee helmsman, the yeah, I can just go on and on and on. And probably the captain too. Captain, you might want to come up here and check this out, sir. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be that guy that didn't tell the captain there's something like right over the ship. Yeah. Yep, I bet the captain's stateroom is always like right underneath the ships I've been on, right next to the bridge. Frigates, I've been on frigates, like right under the bridge. And Aegis cruisers, yep, pretty much same thing. Okay. This was updated a day or so ago, by the way. Okay. Nuclear-powered aircraft carrier is claimed to have been shadowed by a 40-foot ball of fire UFO. Every time I go on JDI to look at their newest drones, they always have that one drone that's 40 foot and it looks like it's on fire all the time. Everybody's seen those drones, right?
In the catalog. Yeah, you get that in my email a lot, discounts for it.
Hey, come get this flaming hot drone that's 40 foot long.
Yeah, and it can go hypersonic velocities and turn on a dime.
Man, I've owned a lot of JDI drones. Yeah, I haven't yet come across that one though. For up to 4 hours. Okay, they're getting better with the time that these drones are up in the air. Like, for instance, the one I have, you can stay up there for like a half an hour. But for 4 hours, no. I would have to. That's why I always have 4 or 5 batteries, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, oh, I just
But
happen
you
to
can't.
have one right here, folks. There, here's one right here. This is a Maverick Air 2 battery, 30 something. I got like a bunch of these. So just to keep my drone up in the air. All right.
Yeah, and you can't change them in flight either. You got to land those suckers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 12 hours to 24 hours persistent
Yeah.
hovering, and then high winds.
Yeah.
No bueno.
Yeah. We need to get some type of nuclear isotope reactor on these things, man, so they can work a little longer.
Yeah, they got
It'd
those
be so cool.
little
Maybe in the future. So
nuclear pellets like they put in
mhm.
Voyager 1 and 2. But
That's
don't think the
exactly what I was
EPA would like
thinking.
those. Yeah, I know it was.
Yeah, and they've lost like 20 or 30% of their power. But hell, it's been like 40 years. So
Yeah, 76, 78.
mhm. Okay, up to 4 hours in mass sightings witnessed by dozens, if not hundreds, of crewmen. I'd say dozens. I don't think I've seen 100. You don't want too many people up on the flight deck during flight operations, just standing around. You'll have some extra world guys up there because they're going to be under instruction. All the new guys, they're getting their qualifications done. Yeah. Documentary filmmaker Dave C. Beatty, who produced the 2019 film. I thought it would be like 2018, but it doesn't matter. The Nimitz Encounters, about the famous 2004 U.S. Navy encounter with the Tic Tac objects, has been investigating this case. And like I said, I communicated with Dave. Said I'm gonna be talking about you, young man. So hopefully he's watching. But he's got a life, unlike me. Um, and he put the Sun online in touch with Mr. Gorky, who was working on the aircraft carrier at the night in question and also saw the UFO. All right, there goes page one, folks. Mr. Gorky, who was serving as a seaman at the time, told the Sun online he still hopes to get answers on what he saw that night, never having had such an experience before or since. I would say so. If what these guys said happened, this thing was actually off the port or starboard side, and I think at one time it went behind the ship where the fantail is for the lookout there to report it during flight operations. Um, hello, there's like this area that it's controlled airspace. You can't have like a craft near your ship and you're launching these multi-million-dollar aircraft, these F-18 Super Hornets. No, I don't even know how much those things cost. They cost more than my car. Guarantee it.
Almost as much
Now,
as your healthcare costs you.
oh my gosh, almost as much as my annual cost of Medicare.
Yep.
You don't even want to see that bill. Whew. I can buy maybe I can get me a one of those used Harriers or something at least for it.
Yeah. And I keep saying, after the U.S. is cold, it's not that it's a good idea that they defend their airspace against, craft or vessels that they can't identify. It's mandatory.
Yeah.
So I keep saying they have to have a way to tell what's a potential enemy conventional drone versus the UAP, because if it was a conventional drone, as we've seen with the war in Ukraine, they need to knock those things out of the sky because they can be weaponized and that they can't take that risk. So they have to have policy and they have to have a way of discerning which is which.
Yep. Now, Arlene had a good point here. There were no drones back then.
Yeah.
There were no drones back, not like that. I know our technology for drones. I know that our defense the Pentagon spends a lot of money in research drone technology because probably within the next 2 generations, our fighter jets are going to be manned by people in trailers with a little joystick,
Yeah.
and they're hundreds or thousands or the other side of the earth away from the action. Um, the, the kids today who are playing these video games will be fighting our jets, and they don't have to be dealing with those G forces anymore. And I bet there will be design where they can pull more G forces than what the F-16 is really does a really good job pulling those G forces, more than probably any other fighter jet. Um, yeah,
Yeah, they
that
can
would be
withstand up to 18 Gs and space shuttle about 22 Gs, but that's nothing compared to the hundreds to thousands of G forces that these anomalous craft exhibit if they had flight mechanics on them, which it don't. But comparatively, if a conventional craft did that, they would be crushed to dust. So,
yep,
you know, my
yeah,
thought.
it'd be like they just turn into a liquid goo instantly. Um, Nobody can. It's physics. You can't withstand those type of G forces or inertia or whatever. Um, I don't know if that's a good idea. I think we have history. Geezer Prime says the policy should. You can't read the headlines that I put up on the screen, can you, Rob? Trying to figure this stuff out. Probably
Yeah,
not. Hey, Mikey.
I can see them.
Okay, it says the policy should be shoot at everything that's not ours. And I'm
Yeah,
thinking, yeah. However, don't we have history? Some news. Mikey, why don't you put on a shirt behind me? That's a great idea. Knucklehead. Um, you got me discombobulated, folks. So, don't we have some news that came from Russia that they tried this and they were shot down by these unknowns?
yeah, there was like 6 different craft shot down, and yeah, at least 6. They tried to shoot them down. I guess their pilots' lives are more cheap than ours and their equipment.
Yeah,
If they
they
can score a craft, then they don't
yeah,
care.
it's worth a bunch of pilots' lives
Hmm.
if you can
Yeah,
have
yeah.
the stuff that's literally out of this world, right? So
Hmm.
it's like I said, folks, there is a technological, it's a, like Cold War. This is like
Hmm.
a tech war, a
Yeah,
UAP.
arms race.
It's an arms race for this technology. I'm convinced of it. Like I
Yeah,
have no
yeah.
proof. It's I'm like thoroughly convinced about it. It's just common sense that intelligence will go, well, if we can get hold of this stuff, we would rule the world too, or we'll be able to protect ourselves because we don't have a um,
And,
Pentagon's not. They used to be called uh, the War Department or something, right? The war,
or
yeah,
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 and
yeah, and that's like, well, let's how about just we're defending, not we're attacking, but we're defending ourselves all the time. Okay,
mhm. And then
just
we have to remember, if we don't get ahead of this with reverse engineering these technologies, Russia and
yeah,
China have had their whole apparatus of their governments, which thank God that they're smaller than ours on budget so far. But they've been trying to reverse engineer this stuff and weaponize it for a long time. If they get it first, it's game over for the rest of the planet. And if we get it first, then we exhibited after World War II that we're not trying to take over the world. We could have, at the end of the war, we didn't. Um, I'd like to think that our government wouldn't, they would use it for brinkmanship, like we do mutually assured destruction of a hey, like Tesla was thinking, we got this technology, you mess with us, then it'll end your existence. So ergo, then we can stop war. That's how I like to look at it anyway. But you know, unfortunately, with the industrial military complex, war sells. They got to sell those bullets and armaments. Makes the world go around, right?
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Someone says, too much information says, saw a talk that said unmanned drones using artificial intelligence will be making the decision to kill very soon. I remember a long time ago that there was this artificial intelligence that if it can make out like if this was like a Scud missile, it was like old analog type of technology, it would seem. This was like early 90s. Like you could send this missile like kind of like a Tomahawk cruise missile, and it'll have a pattern. It'll fly, and if it identifies this tank as a foe, it would fly right into it. It's artificial. I knew they had the technology way back then, um, but now, and for years now, they've had this technology with drones. They can come up and they can design things like a horse and have the horse look like they have these drones go up and it'll look like a horse and the horse is running, right? So all that, it's not like a person is going and programming each one of these drones. They're putting in the top information, and all that AI stuff goes right into these drones. They know how far away. They all have their own little mission they have to go on, right? Make beautiful art. Um,
It's breaking up. You're breaking up.
Okay. Stand by. And me now. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Austin, I don't think that Bob's arguing with you. I think he's agreeing with you. just a point.
Okay.
I don't want you guys misunderstanding.
Let me bring this up real quick.
Yeah, I don't agree that we should fire on anomalous either.
Yeah.
I think they can. I think that they have electronics that can sort out what's conventional drones, and those should be shot from the sky. I don't agree that we should be shooting at UAP. That is a bad idea.
Yeah, we have these squawk boxes, FFI, friendly or foe. It's identification type of transmitter that tells us if it's a flight 103 from Baltimore, whatever city, So obviously these guys. I got a question for you. Obviously these guys mostly don't. I don't think they be squonking. But has there been? I'll ask Rob here because he's full of knowledge. Has there been any cases where UAPs are squawking?
Actually, yes. There was one.
That's amazing.
They came over. Yeah, go figure. One came over the North Pole. They thought it was inbound from Russia to NORAD, and it was heading on a vector straight for Cheyenne Mountain. And they armed their warheads because they sent out the squawk, and it didn't respond at first. And so they fired up their nukes or the missiles to intercept it, thinking that they were being we were getting ready to launch against Russia. And then it gave the signature back of a 727, and it squawked back the correct code to show that it was a friend. Go figure.
Yeah, but there was. Do you remember a video I sent you, Rob, where it was like a documentary on YouTube, and it was like some time ago, and this guy was filming these UAPs, and they were calling these UAPs out, like just you're faking. That is not a real sound of an aircraft, because the Doppler sound, how aircraft should sound when they're coming to you and when they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Leroy was on duty that night and couldn't do his job right.
Yeah, he couldn't get the acoustics right. Couldn't blow it out of the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually that trek. It looked like a 727 on radar, but the echo coming from it, the acoustics weren't right on it. So they knew it wasn't. They knew something wasn't right with it, but it gave back the correct code. So they knew it wasn't Russia, so they didn't fire on it. And then it just blew over them and went somewhere like they always do, to where they couldn't catch it, and veered off over the Atlantic somewhere at warp speed.
By the way, guys, if you notice, we really don't have a wait. We're just talking like we're on the phone. I talked to Rob on the phone like crazy. I'm glad I don't have phone bills like that anymore. But I would talk to him like 4 o'clock in the morning, and finally one of us would have to tap out and say, "Dude, I'm tired. I got to go." This is what it's like to be on the phone with with Shannon and Rob. You're just listening in, right?
Yeah.
You're participating too. So we're yes, I'm. If you notice, there's a story I'm trying to go over, and I haven't made it past the second paragraph, and we're talking about this. So just expect
Yeah.
that for here on out.
Yeah, Geezer Prime. Part of the reason that we don't want our adversaries to know what we know about UAP, because you can't tell your friends without telling your enemies. That's what part of the lecture I think that Lou gave at Roswell this weekend was that we can't tell everything we know about these. The government has to hold back some, because if we even give out what the shapes are that we know are conventional drones as opposed to unconventional, then our adversaries would mimic what those unconventional are and think they can slip it in because we won't fire on those, and then surprise. So that's why they don't want. That's why they keep that redacted on what they, what shapes we can discern are conventional and what's anomalous at this point. We can't
Right.
give away all that part. There's a lot they can tell us though that they're not. That I agree with wholeheartedly.
Right. And I got to go over something. Someone had a good point here. Um, if the aliens have been here longer than us, and I suspect they have, which I suspect they have as well, if we fire on them, that's us declaring war on what's so far has been quiet, peaceful. Now, here's the devil advocate in me. I have to ask myself, what do I know so far? Yes, they haven't attacked us. And you got to make a list of worst case scenario and best case scenario. Best case scenario, they come here, they're our friends, they're going to show us um, how to do things maybe better for our planet. Maybe they'll find a cure for our ailments, right? That'd be really cool. That's the best case scenario, right? We can
Mm-hmm.
all hold hands, sing kumbaya. Worst case scenario, they're here to eat us, right? They come here, they they come to eat us. They come, they release Leroy and let him do whatever he wants.
Scorched earth.
Yeah, and they make a big pot of stew with a bunch of us, and they eat us. That's the worst case scenario. They take over this planet, they eat us, and what do I have that tells me that they're here for any of that? I don't have. Yes, they haven't done it so far. That doesn't mean their civilization from Zeta Reticuli. I'm just making that up. Hasn't been on this big ass mothership that doesn't have the the ability to get here quick like they did, and it takes 10,000 years to get here. Okay, they haven't done nothing. They haven't prep this meal here, but as soon as they get here, it's game over. That's the worst case scenario.
And for me, looking at where, if we were advanced scouting, and this is basic warfare 101, you go in and scout the territory that you want to try and get control of. You don't go in scouting the churches, their synagogues, and their rec centers. You go in and scout their military and find out what their capabilities are, where they are at, what their numbers are, how they respond, which is what these are doing. So me being a paranoid, veteran, um, until I know it's not a threat, I can't stand down. And our government sole function should have been the protection of our sovereign borders and our citizens. And yeah, they've probably been here longer than humanity, but we're native to this planet as well. And we've got traditional homelands and things. Yeah, Julie, that we're encroaching on some places. That kind of seems to be the theme, because like in the Puerto Rican Trench with those incidences where they keep coming over the carriers with the giant orbs and those black anomalous craft coming from the deep, the size of small islands that were seen a couple of times by our helicopter pilots. Um, that's the second deepest place on the planet. Um,
Yeah.
it does seem like they're protective of certain territories that they have for some reason. And it seems like where we have our training grounds off of San Diego, that might be a hotspot, or they may be testing our capabilities because that's where we roll out the newest equipment, to see what we got. And so just let it go hard. I don't know. We can't rule it out. I do want to hold out optimism that they're not going to do something extreme, but I also study ancient history enough to know we've had entire civilizations disappear several times over in our history, and we don't really know exactly what happened to them. Yeah, they do. We do have cataclysms every 2 to 3 thousand years that puts us to the brink, but those aren't the same in all instances that caused them to not be here anymore. So, and you got Mohenjo-daro that's radioactive, and that wasn't a natural event. So, and the ancient rumors of and legends of wars among gods, um, there's some truth in there somewhere. So, we have to be cautious.
Yep. Stephen Clark says Travis Taylor wrote something about a friend response coming from UFO recently. You get just think about, to me, I think about it maybe a different way. Yeah, everything that he said, but devil's advocate here. Maybe once again Leroy was messing up and shot this lightning down and hit Travis, and he went flying across this field like a bag of bones. And everybody that witnessed it thought he was dead, was scared out of their wits, and they took off in that 6-pack truck, like a bat out of hell. And someone looked over at old Leroy. What are you doing, man? We can't. You did you just kill this dude? Oh man, we got so many witnesses. Oh, we got to get the rest of the guy. Oh man, they're gone. Okay, let's think. What are we gonna do here? I tell you what. Get him back up here. Get him on the ship. Fix it, and put him back. Okay, before those guys come back. Oh crap! They got him on the ship. The guys came back. We can't land them because they're going to see us. So they left again, right? The brother, Travis's brother, and the rest of the crew, and um, they were able to fix him on another ship. I think they took him off that ship onto like a hangar bay. Maybe it was underground. Maybe it was on a ship in the stratosphere. Or other side of the moon, or it could have been in the moon for all I know. And they worked on him on a table. He passed back out and woke up looking straight up as that thing was taken off again. So they put him back. They fixed him. But was it because they were nice, or they were just fixing a boo-boo and a mistake? Because maybe they eat people, but they can't. Too many people saw them get this person by accident. I wonder if that was a static discharge.
Yeah, I mean, from slide 9, we've seen that they can change time, they can change reality, they can change our perception of reality if they wanted.
Yeah.
It's like the abyss where the water comes out and it can take any shape it wants when it's looking around their craft underwater or submarine or whatever it was, and it takes the shape of a face and a long snake as it goes through the hallways and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they close the door when somebody freaks out, cuts off, and just splashes into the floor like water. That isn't unrealistic, given their capabilities, what they can do. That's not out of the realm of their ability, according to that. That's perfectly reasonable that they can something to that extent. So it's making something out of nothing. It can drop in the quantum field and turn energy in a quantum state into physical matter, into mass. So why would we think that they couldn't do something like that, and that they could, that they seem to be able to do surgery on some things and with no signs of scars or anything like that. So why couldn't they, put us back together if they wanted to, if they accidentally ran us over with their four-wheel drive UAPs or something,
Yeah.
we can't
Now,
really.
yeah, I forgot to tell everybody, Julie Farrell had a great idea earlier about if you have a question, put it in all caps. If you ever listen to Martin Willis, he'll tell the audience to do that as well. So if you have a question, I need to say this in the beginning of every broadcast now. I'll try to make a habit into it. You have a question, all caps. So yes, yell at us, all caps, so we can go directly to that. Because a lot of times you guys are just talking to one another, and I can go straight to the questions and make this show even better for you guys. All right. She says, I heard from someone recently that there were a swarm of ships like the Nimitz. It's because we are encroaching on a place of others consider it their territory. Have you heard of that? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I spoke of that a couple minutes ago. That's where I was saying that it seems the Puerto Rican Trench is a hot spot, and off San Diego, but that they seem to really go hard at making their presence known and trying to deter us. And maybe they're just there to scout out our capabilities if those are both training grounds. Don't know, but it does seem that they are more defensive of some places than others, and most of the time it involves water. Whether it's a deep freshwater lake like the Great Lakes, the one in Peru, Lake Titicaca, or the ocean. They are seeing coming out. One of the locals in Peru was actually telling us gringos that they wanted the UAPs to stop taking their water because they had big craft that were over them, and they would draw out huge amounts of water at a time and lower the water table. So
where did we see that? Was that in Out of the Blue, or was that in Phenomenon?
I don't remember. Maybe it was in the Phenomenon. I think in the Phenomenon movie, maybe.
I need to catch up back on that one and watch it again. It was amazing. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let me keep on going here. Here's a story that I'll share with everybody, and I hope I'm not the only one that ever seen this video of James Fox being interviewed, and he talked about him being in contact with this man, and on his VHS tape, he had a copy of video of these two young guys that went having a good time out in the desert somewhere, and like home video back in the day, right? Big old recorders back then, big RCAs, right? So anyway, long story short, there was this craft coming down, and they were freaking out. They were trying to climb underneath their seats. They were so scared, and all of this was captured on video. I remember James Fox talking about he tried his best to get this video, and long story short, he couldn't secure it. It had disappeared into the abyss. So anybody knows about that, put it in all caps so I can read your comments here. Let's see. Oh, wait 1 second. Hold on, folks. Right. Yep, something's coming down here in a couple. Look at my phone here.
Something hot off the press.
Hot off the press in less than, I don't know how many, less than 15 seconds, folks. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and everybody on the East Coast, happy 4th of July. All right, hold your ears. We'll be shooting fireworks. Yeah, it seems like the hot spots, in my opinion, the hot spots are off the coast of Jacksonville, even though I've never seen them. Puerto Rico, and off those islands in California. Those are the hot spots. Let's see if anybody got some questions here. No one's asking questions because it's not
And
George never got
Zimbabwe,
involved with
where
it.
Ariel School was, there's a long history of megaliths and everything there. Like, the world grid, the energy grids, where all these ancient megaliths are. Most of them are built on this grid where there's the natural earth energies that have intersections that propagate more so. And we've even built conventional modern. The United States has built bases over those spots, so they know there's something there to that energy that they're not tipping their hand at for us to know. But
Yeah.
Blue Chef, welcome.
Yeah.
Jones and Scott.
All right. Stand to me.
Stand by for a wrench.
All right. So let's see if I can continue with this story. Okay, Mr. Gorky has witnessed this object twice that night. Once while he was starboard forward watch on the bridge, and he saw it again when he was rotating to the station at the massive vessel stern known as the fantail. Oh, look at there. I knew all the acronyms. Yeah, that's what happens when you're on watch, folks. You rotate pretty much on the hour. Like 15 till, you get the messenger of the watch. I worked on my ship. He goes starboard lookout, starboard goes to aft, aft goes to port, port goes to helm, helm goes to messenger of the watch. Bam, look at that. It's been 13 years now I've been out of the Navy, and it's been a lot longer than that since I was a bosun mate, and I can go back in the Navy and not miss a beat. Okay, so Mr. Gorky here first saw the object as he hovered around 200 feet above the flight deck. Yeah, when you're on the flight deck, you high. I wouldn't even recommend jumping in the water that high. That'd get you killed. Everybody, okay, that's why they got those nets around the flight deck. Hopefully catch a plane, get the front wheels and those things. I've seen videos, right? Everyone's seen videos of something go wrong and they get caught up in those nets. I've heard many times of our people working up on the flight deck. They get blown. We got these jet blasters. They'll pop up right behind the aircraft, and they'll divert all that blown air, hot blown air, straight up rather than straight back. But sometimes people get blown, and they've been blown right off that flight deck. I know that. Yeah.
It could be some massive berms too with that.
Man, non-skid, that's worst case scenario, man. I would hate just skidding my knee on a flight deck. Can you imagine oh God. I don't even think about it, especially if it was a new flight deck, because the newer the flight deck is, the sharper those edges on that non-skid is. Woo. Okay. Well, Gorky, and then he saw it. Okay, we saw in which rotate. Okay. Go back. Okay. Gorky first saw the object as he hovered around 200 feet above the flight deck, saying everyone on the bridge would have been able to see the UFO. Also, if they have flight ops and that control tower too. Man, they got flight ops going on. You got the fuel guys. You got the people who are at the LSE. Oh my gosh, they had a bunch of people up there. And then he saw it again when he rotated. Once again. So this tells me there's at least, let's see, went to the bridge twice that night. So at least 2 hours. At least 2 hours, Rob. My experience in the Navy and reading this, that thing was in the sky for over 2 hours. I got questions. Okay. I got new headphones in too, so hopefully it'll be better reception. And then he saw it again as he rotated, watch once again hovering over the rear of the ship. The sailor told the son online. What's that?
I was telling Geezer good night. He's leaving.
Yeah, the object moved in ways and at speed seemingly beyond the capabilities of any aircraft he had seen before. And how many times have we heard this, folks? Right? People in the military, like me, if I saw something that wasn't right, I tell you, that's not normal. And I go to air shows like all the time because I love being a photographer and videographer. So yeah, if something was in the sky doing something it shouldn't be doing, like taking sharp 90-degree turns at like high speed, yeah. Now the sailor told the Sun online the object moved in weight. Okay, we read that. Flying in 3 half-circle patterns before then jetting off. Man, so it half circles, right? Like this, 2, 3, and gone. Right? Okay. The half is just how you understand it. Half circles. Is that how you understand it, Rob? Okay. All right. Flying in 3. Okay. Flying in 3 half-circle patterns before jetting off. Gorky describes the object as a bright orange ball that was wavy, but somehow still solid like plasma. This is exactly what the Kennedy experience, folks. This is what the guys were telling me. He first saw the object for 30 seconds as it flew near the flight deck. You think we had anything like that in 1971, by the way, Rob? Anything? You think we had like, heck no. The best fighter we had was the F-4 Phantom back then, wasn't it? Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope, DJI was not in existence back then. He first saw the object for 30 seconds as it flew near the flight deck, and then saw it again around an hour later as it moved to the fan tail. Crew on board the carrier dubbed the object the blob, or the thing. It is the latest in a string of incidents of UFOs reportedly. I like when reporters, media folks are using UFOs rather than UAPs. I use UAPs all the time because I think it's kind of more palatable. But first thing people hear about UFOs that don't hear it every day, they think of the tinfoil hat folks and all. And I don't want to be associated with Crazy Joe. That crazy uncle of yours. You know, everyone's got that crazy uncle. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, mine spent time in Vietnam, to be fair. That's what made him crazy. But, God rest his soul.
It is the latest in the string of incidents of UFOs reportedly being seen approaching U.S. warships and warplanes, with many former servicemen coming forward to tell their stories. I know some stuff now about this that I don't think I would be comfortable telling you folks because I don't have permission from someone. It rhymes with Dave Beatty. All right. So strange objects have seen. Let me brack it up. It is okay. Strange objects. I got a cramp, folks. I'm sorry. Strange objects seen in the sky, more commonly known as UAP, have stepped firmly from the realms of the conspiracy theory from the serious to a serious national security concern. So it goes from tinfoil hat to NBC Nightly News. U.S. senators last month grilled the intelligence chief. I think it's been, how long has it been now? Has it been more than 1 month? I forgot what month that was. Grilled intelligence chiefs about their encounters, which is a joke, folks. If we ever get the time and we talk about that, I want to give you guys my impressions, and I give them a big fat F, and for a lot of reasons. And the more that time goes on, the more I hate that what they were telling folks, because they're just ignorant. They just don't know that, I don't know, or they're lying. Okay. And the incident aboard the USS Ronald Reagan is potentially one of the most extraordinary UFO encounters in history, with the objects being seen multiple times over the course of 4 hours and by a huge number of witnesses. I did not move in ways that I've seen other aircraft maneuver, and it was faster than anything I've ever seen. Gorky told the Sun online. And he also backs up the accounts from fellow crewman Linsack, I hope I pronounced that right, and Derek Smith that supposed to have their rates on here, like BM3 or whatever. That despite the extraordinary sighting, there was not much response from those on board. Now, I've heard that too, folks. I'm preaching to the choir. I guarantee I'm preaching to the choir about things like this. Like, there will be an unbelievable sighting, and and after you see it, you had enough of it, and you walk away, and you go, "Oh yeah, I saw that thing." Well, did you stay there and watch it until it left? No, I even had my cell phone on me. I don't know why I didn't even record it. I just looked at it, and I had enough of it, and I went and did something else. And me, I'm there until my battery dies on my cell phone, right? Because I'm waiting for that lickety split take off tic tac move, right? Okay, Mr. Gorky and Olisek and Mr. Smith are among 8 former U.S. Navy crew from Reagan who confirmed they either saw the object or heard about the encounter the following day. I want to tell you something, folks. I'm going to stop there for a moment. Here we go. I got a Navy story for you guys. I'm 100% guilty of doing this. I'm the John F. Kennedy. This is funny. We were out doing some type of exercises, and we weren't given a date when we'd be pulling back in. And we were out there for a couple of weeks with no return to home scheduled. So me and this other second class master at arms were in the brig, and we were talking about this. Hey, let's go up to the flight deck. Not flight deck. Let's go to the smoke deck, and let's have a conversation that will maybe hopefully make everybody feel a little better. Because when when you have like 3,000 plus people, and there's a rumor that goes around, it goes around quick. So I said all this with a straight face. I remember this dude's name. It was MA2 Perez. I said, "Hey man, I'm totally lying to my friend. Everybody's smoke. This is at night, and all you see is these lit cigarettes all over the smoke deck on the port side midships." And I was just telling lies. I said, "Hey, yeah, my sister-in-law's husband works for Bird Ops, and they received a message that we're coming in, and they're going to be getting the cranes out to lift the browse up for the ship after tomorrow. We should something about being there around 1700 in the evening." I was telling those kind of lies, right? I am not kidding you when I say like another 24 hours. The executive officer came over the intercom system. It's called the 1MC in the Navy. And he announced that there's a rumor going around the ship saying we're pulling in tomorrow. I'm telling you right here, folks, that is not happening. So, oh yeah, good. Just having fun. That was great. That was a great prank. Pranked the whole ship. It was harmless. He said, "I'd like to say my defining memory from that night was seeing that object itself, but was more surprised at how few people reacted or seemed to care about the event that took place." Like I was saying, I would describe my experience as calm, necessary. To me, it was more the fact that everyone on board is trained to do their job, even when expecting things to happen. And that's exactly what everyone did. He said he did not receive any specific orders regarding the sighting, did not report the incident, and believes between 100 and 0. Sorry, I thought it was time. Those are people. Between 1 and 200 people would have seen the UFO. I have not had other paranormal experiences. I do hope we get answers on this, said Quirky. Another lookout on board the ship, spoken to Mr. Beatty, also confirmed the object appeared to move in half loop swoops before vanishing, adding the bridge were tracking it on the radar. The Aegis cruisers I've been on, they have this operations specialist would sit in this chair. It's kind of like, if I remember right, a little bit on the starboard side from the center line on the bridge. And his job was basically if the captain, not the captain, well, yeah, the captain or the conning officer or the officer deck have questions, or it's a quick communication between combat information and the bridge. There goes the fireworks, folks. So, yeah, we called them Bright Bridge for whatever reason. I don't know why we called them Bright Bridge. We called them Bright Bridge. Okay. Hopefully I didn't. Let's see. Yep, I did. I went one page too fast. Okay. Another look aboard the ship, spoken to Mr. Beatty, also confirmed the object appeared to move. Okay, we did that one, so I'll get rid of that. Okay, to the next page, folks. She described the object as orange globe floating over the flight deck. Yep, I heard that too. That was keeping pace with the ship, which is believed to have been moving around 22 knots. Whew. Man, I'm telling you, one of the fastest ships in the Navy are nuclear carriers, man. Woo! They're so fast they produce their own wind, and you know, get those birds up in the air a lot quicker that way.
Tell you what, those ones that go underwater that are up to 300, 300 kilometers an hour, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do they go through the? You know, we don't have mass kills showing up floating on the, in their wake. You know, that were a conventional craft. Everywhere they're jetting through underwater, they would just be decimating the wildlife under there, where you'd leave a trail of floating fish everywhere it went. But they seem to have an ability to maybe pass right through them, because otherwise they would just be killing, the ecosphere in mass every time they, jet like that across the ocean.
Yeah.
Which seems to be more
biosphere. That's a big biosphere. There's a lot of biological mass in those areas. You'd think it even kill the algae.
Yeah, can you imagine ripping through a blue whale like that at 300 kilometers an hour? Holy cow!
I was on the. I don't know if it was the USS Monterey or the USS Doyle. We had a distress call. There was one of those hydrofoil ships that we used to own. We don't have them in the Navy no more, but apparently it hit pilot whale or something, and tore up the one of those hydro things that came down. Yeah, that must have been a bloody mess. Yeah, I've never heard about my ships hitting anything.
The way they can fly into, the way they can go transmedium. I mean, if anything hit the water at any rate of speed, it's like hitting concrete. That they would, leave a massive splash, and conventional craft would be completely destroyed, flattened out like they're hitting concrete. For them to go transmedium like that and not even splash in some instances, they're able to slip through solid mass without disrupting the its composition and structural integrity. So you would think that ripping through the ocean like that, potentially they're not making contact with those fish; they're going right through them, and not, they're the atomic structure of the craft aren't. It's passing right through the superconductor through the other solid mass that they're interacting with. They're not interacting with it; they're just passing through it. Because mass is empty space. It's just, we're waves, but we have an integrity to our electronic field, electromagnetic field that we have that makes us, us. It's, if you have a superconductor in Cooper pairs, all of its electrons are in one phase as one electron for that mass. It could theoretically pass through solid walls and things and there's no reason it couldn't pass through solid objects. But we've seen when orbs pass through people, which there's some incidences even that Gary Nolan talked about where they passed through a driver's shoulder and things that gave them some severe biological effects. Some of these leave radiation or radiological effects, but you know, and there are near misses with airplanes, but I'd have to wonder if they're not able to pass right through an airplane if they were, I think if they were set to that type of energy level. But, you know, we've seen a few of them crash where, you know, and a lot of it seemed to involve lightning strikes to where maybe it over amped their vector field that they would have, their trajectory, and took them out of their own local environment that they created within their warp bubble. So yeah, kind of crap that goes through my head.
Yeah, I try to figure out the physics on this. I can kind of figure out the space-time metrics on why what I'm looking at looks different. Whether, you know, it's cloaking, and they're able to, how they can move through that from one place to another, and the relative time, space, whatever inside that vehicle is the same. And, you know, whether that vehicle takes a 90-degree turn at Mach 20 and it doesn't affect the occupants on the inside, you know, yeah, it's pretty amazing to me.
Yeah, it's something to contemplate. It's a starting point anyway to theorize from. You know, I make a best guess, even if it has no basis, and I work from there trying to find some basis of it. But a lot of this is from, you know, research of like Richard Feynman of quantum mechanics and things, some of the innovations that they've had. So just, you know, I may be way off base, but, you know, I got to start somewhere.
Right. So Mark says, dang, nabbit, I'm late. A lot going on, and I'm not good either. A lot going on, and I'm not good either. I need UFO news. Well, we're trying to get through this. It only taken us so far, man, like an hour, and an hour and a half to get through 3 paragraphs. So,
yeah,
hey, hang out with us, Mark. Also, a tip. I sometimes get, you know, go to a live stream that's been going on for a while. So what I do is that you can go into the settings and you can listen to this podcast or any YouTube video, and you can change the speed, but it doesn't change the speed of or it doesn't make us sound like chipmunks or drunk if you slow it down. So it maintains the tone, but speeds it up, and you're able to hear it. I usually go about 1.5 and catch up real quick. Yeah, Mikey. All right.
Yeah, I need to try that trick.
Yeah. So the crewman claims that she tried to report. This crewman claims she tried to report to the bridge, but was told to quit smoking crack. I know some of you guys are going, "What the heck?" I won't tell you. That's exactly what I expect hearing from the Bright Bridge or the other, you know, maybe somebody from another position, the other lookouts. We just like chit chat, and you're not supposed to, like, you know, you're not supposed to, but you're bored out there in the middle of the night, and sometimes it's hot, and you hear those engines, and you got flight ops going on, and you just want to have a conversation with somebody. So I can see someone say, "Hey, will you stop smoking crack?" You know, someone down in CIC, Combat Information Center, just popping off with that. It is alleged the crewmen on board the vessel were told not to record the encounter in the ship's log. That would be a unlawful order, I believe, because the quartermaster is the one on the ship doing the logging up on the bridge, folks. And if someone comes along and says, "Take that out," here, you want to write this? You write it, because I'm writing down the facts. You know, the facts of the matter. If we had this unknown ship on their starboard side at, oh my God, they're really close at 400 yards. You log it. Oh my God, the moon came up an hour late today. I logged that too. Just whatever is not normal can be logged in. And I'd like to find out, is it a lawful order from a commanding officer or any officer to tell the quartermaster while they're underway, or the quarterdeck watch, the officer deck, the petty officer of the watch, if they're told take something out that it's, some reason, is that a lawful order? Hey, maybe somebody else out here is in the Navy and they know that one and their orders. Maybe there's an instruction out there about that. Okay. It is alleged the crewmen on board the vessel were told to not. Yep. Okay, now we'll go on to the next one. Some of the witnesses' testimony is very offering different times of day and duration of the encounter, but all agree the orange fireball was spotted near the ship. Mr. Smith previously told the Sun Online how he saw crewmen on the flight deck pointing up at the object, and Mr. Olasak described the phenomenon as resembling the biblical description of the burning bush. Yeah, like that John F. Kennedy dude saying he saw God and freaking out. USS Ronald Reagan was the 9th in the class of supercarriers and had a crew of 5,680 sailors and air wing. And yeah, that's about right. That's even on the John F. Kennedy. We had around 3,000 sailors on board, and we had like almost another 3,000 people on deployment. So that's even on a supercarrier. You got that many. It's 2,480. I wouldn't be surprised. And some of the time, it's not even Navy folks. We're talking Marines. There's aircraft are flown by Marines as well, and they take off on carriers as well. The 101,000 ton, 1,092 foot long vessel is powered by 2 nuclear reactors, making her maiden active deployment in 2006. What comes to mind is, once again, this orb is checking this vessel out in the early days after commissioning. That's what sticks out in my mind, folks. And the exact date of the encounter is unknown, but all we have to do is go back in the deck logs and find out, right? Oh, wait a minute. They're not there. Sounds like, if you guys haven't seen my video about John F. Kennedy, I did a FOIA on John F. Kennedy for the deck logs for the entire month of June and for the entire month of July of 1971. And sure as shit, they lost them, folks. I know, right? They lost them. I wasn't happy about that. I was kind of ticked off because that's not supposed to happen. U.S. lawmakers last month grilled 2 top security chiefs. Really, it was softball grilling. There were some good questions, but we may go on that another time. The first UFO hearing for 15 years. I can almost hear Lou right now saying, "Look, this is the good." Lou is one of the best optimistics I know. The man is optimistic.
But have a plan to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Like
have a plan, but he is a very optimistic, positive person. And while they did not mention aliens, they did admit there were some of the 400 encounters that were on the books, which are truly unexplained. All right, so we got through that story, folks. Remember, if you have a question, all caps. Got a question? All caps. Let me get down here, see if there's any questions. No questions. Well, that's fine. What else is going on in the news there, Rob?
Not much, but my dog is trying to get into my coffee.
That's some good coffee you got there.
Yep. I'm an emotional support human.
Oh, man.
PTSD dog.
Man, someone making me sad. Someone told me and they used all caps. They didn't have to, so they're yelling at me, making me feel bad. So I got a good one. That the show we did about the UAP, the Leroy show, I like to call it now.
Yeah.
Someone says invisible tracker. See him all the time over here. Oh, he goes, this is a good show. Ha ha ha. So I got one that's on the other side. Most immature show I have ever watched. Wanted to watch you guys, but Shannon is pretty disgusting to watch.
Imagine that.
Then he started giggling like a 6-year-old. I'm done. Remove my subscription.
Remove yourself, dude.
Dude, I'm not. Look, I'm not getting paid for this. So there.
Yeah, we can have a little fun doing this stuff. And I would dare say that somebody that already had their mind made up before they ever watched it, and probably somebody that's not very friendly to us at this point, I dare say. And that's a very short list. So, yeah.
He was right. I was giggling like a schoolgirl. It was so funny. I came across so disgustingly, but it was disgustingly funny. And I haven't laughed like that, folks, in a long time. So if I offended any of you folks, I am sorry.
I've heard nothing but compliments about that. I've had a lot of positive feedback about that they were just really thought that was cool. It was so laid back. Arlene was asking if the new super carrier having updated tech to tell the difference between UAP and drones. We have seen where a lot of ships have been retrofitted with new electronic type sensors at the fore and the aft and things, front and back, side to side, whatever. They won't, they don't publish that kind of information, but I would dare say that they have that kind of capability now that they're fielding and retrofitting a lot of their older stuff too, because until they know it's not a threat, they've got to prepare as best they can to mitigate until they know to stand down, because the battle space is changing very quick.
Yeah, it's the drips of information. I'm the type of investigator. I'm trying to find patterns. When I hear stories about when the craft became close, it's as if time stood still or it slowed down. I've heard that so many times. It tells me there's some type of dilation of the space-time metrics. And then people talking about they're communicating like in my head. Maybe they know some frequency or something. They know how. I'm sure they've got this down to a science, right? Maybe it's explainable, but when we talk about ESP, like, I'm talking to Rob in my head and he can hear me. No, it may be something more scientific, I'm devil's advocate on this, right? It's something more that can be explained. You hear about
I think it's in the quantum field that we cannot measure the quantum field and gravity, but I think everything propagates in quantum entanglement, that it's omni-entangled, like the thought experiment of the one electron universe. I think it all is interconnected in the quantum realm, that consciousness and organic and inorganic matter and energy are all interconnected, and nothing moves without something else moving with it, like the butterfly effect. So I think there is a quantifiable way to measure consciousness and our interaction with it, of tapping into that, which we all are connected to the same quantum field. So it just stands to reason that we could access other people's minds and other things through that, if we knew how.
Yep. I'm the type of person that if I come across a YouTube channel, like maybe they have a good subject, like versus the UAP versus trains, like we did, it did take me like 2 or 3 seconds. Like, yeah, this is not for me. I would not be going into their comment section, and wasting my valuable time doing that. So
That is somebody that is wanting to try and hurt our feelings because they already have an agenda against us. And like I said, that's a very short list of people. You can almost figure out who that might have been. If I looked at it, I could tell by the writing who it was, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Honestly, folks, it doesn't bother me. Nobody can hurt my feelings. Nah. I'm too much of an optimistic. Yeah. I don't have time for any drama. Like, I go back to that no drama policy. You can't please all the people all the time, and some people must find things they don't want to like just so they can moan about it. Yeah. It is the best medicine. Yeah. I thought what happened, and I thought that night, me reading that story and understanding what I was reading, and thinking of giving that ET a name, Leroy, and putting the human, putting how we would respond to that, like, hey, well, that's that big white light coming right at us, going woo, woo. It's funny. And
yeah, that's hilarious. That's what it's about, man. We have fun doing it, and if people, can subscribe to that type of humor, which a lot of people gave me feedback that they really enjoyed that. Blow it off, man. Move on.
Heck yeah, move on. Yeah,
move on.
I knew when I got into this, not too long ago. I don't have that too many videos now, but I knew sooner or later I'd get people like that, because look how Lou has been treated. And I know Lou, Lou, and that man has been dragged through the mud. Just nastiest people on this earth come out.
And it's not anything he did, it's because they have an agenda. And unfortunately, he got in the way of their agenda. So their agenda is to destroy him, anybody associated with it. I'm fine to take some blows on that one. I'll take it all day long. Bring it.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got out there. Critics can add to the increasing level of excellence if done constructively. That wasn't constructive at all, though. Yeah, you're right. I'm disgusting. How was I eating meatloaf and drinking milk at the same time, and it was squirting out of my nose? Now that'd make it even more.
Eating a buffet on camera, on live stream, and spitting food out on your mic. Yeah, we weren't doing that.
Yeah, I think I remember doing this a lot. I would laugh like this, because my face would turn so red. It was so funny. I didn't want people, if I had to pass out, I didn't want people to see me blacking out. I was going to be embarrassed about that. Oh, well, thank you. It's outrageous. You are doing well, Shannon and Rob. Good that Julie do that. Okay. Hey, thank you. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. Rob and I would be talking anyways on the phone. We're just adding you guys to the conversation. So.
Yeah, Shannon wants to bring up the speed on this, and he's got excellent insights. So we have a lot of notes to compare with each other to bring to bear on this.
Yeah. I missed one. Wow. You move around. I see. Yes, I've been on Thomas Fessler's channel. I have no comment at this time about that. I no longer am a panel member.
Yep, we're here now.
I'm here now, and there's nothing. I have nothing against Thomas Fessler. It was just different ideologies, and I wish him well. I wish him well, and there's nothing negative that I have to say about him. We just had different points of views, and I think we just leave it at that. Yes, creation is power. Sometimes I wonder, are we all human?
Who knows? Sometimes I wonder if I'm even human.
I
Depends how
wonder
you
if this
define
is,
it.
I think, I fantasize just like everybody else. I think, and I'm thinking, could the Matrix really have something right about all this? Could this really be a computer generated thing?
Yeah, you got to think people that are remote viewers that are able to go out of body. Their body is one place, and they say that there's a black when they're viewing something that they have a black apparition there when they can tell remote viewers in the area. So it's like they leave their physical self one place, and their consciousness someplace else and project it. Who knows? That's kind of like what the Matrix is, talking about.
Yep. Got to be able to be serious about UFOs, yes, but also be able to be more lighthearted too. Got to have a laugh, as does sound crazy sometimes too. I really am more professional than I was talking about Leroy. That was just the humor one can find about a UFO not being the complacency here, them not knowing where they're at, or so narrow mind. They just didn't have a window to look out the left side of the craft. Maybe it was Leroy's job to do that, and he failed. He had that one job, and he failed. And they got hit by a very large locomotive carrying a lot of cars. And if you're able to damage these things, and I think some craft you can. I referred to case number 2. Yeah,
it seems like that
they got damaged. They were damaged. I would put money on they got hurt too.
Yeah, and I know from when they change colors sometimes that they're changing energy levels. Well, they'll be going from stationary or changing vectors or something. They'll generate a different color sometimes. So it seems like they ramp up or scale down the power that they're emitting, at that point somehow. But I just know some people told me that that the RF signals that they generate and the ionizing gases, the color they make color by ionizing the gases, the ones that aren't trying to mimic craft or conventional craft with light shows, but the ones that generate the glowing colors are ionizing different gases with different energy levels, which we could tell how much energy they're putting out by the temperature. The gas, the color that they're ionizing would dictate the gas and what temperature it takes to ionize that. So that would be something to track down too, to try and put some measurements on. Just a thought.
That's a good idea. I'm trying to. It's a spectrograph, right? It's a light spectrograph or something where they can, and kind of like what the James Webb Telescope can do. They can take light, they can break it down, and they can tell you exactly what they're looking at, what elements, what's in the atmosphere of the planet, faraway planet, just by the light spectrum. And it's an analyzer for that. So if they could maybe apply this to these craft, maybe they can kind of figure it out as well.
And some are asking about are humans from Earth. There's no real evidence of evolution of anything on this planet. Even entire flora and fauna disappeared in the fossil record, and all of a sudden, boom, new ones appeared. It's like, if we did evolve somewhere, it wasn't here. And the ancient megaliths have clear marks of high machinery marks on them. There was no chemical record of a prior industrial age on this planet for at least 300 million years. So I dare say that technology that do have nuts and bolts was evolved on another planet, and likely we were seeded here some way or another. intelligent design, you can take it from there. And even the
Right.
scientists are recognizing there wasn't enough time on Earth for things to have evolved, but they cannot find missing links and transitions from one species to another. There's adaptation of species, but they don't have anything that they can definitively say here's a walk that transitioned into a fly. You know, it had nubby wings and then it had wings. So no, there's not any transition. There's not with the missing links with humans. You know, we came about back Homo sapiens. Sapiens, they don't know how we showed up 40,000 years ago, or dogs even. They emerged 3 different times. Domesticated grains, and you know they showed up on 2 different sides of the planet at the same time, and they have different genetic counts to where they didn't emerge from the same. They aren't related. So you know, these things just showed up.
Yep.
So I don't think much of anything is from around here. And you know that it was probably all of us are seeded, and I don't think just by transpermia. And you know, even Lou had mentioned recently when some things have bilateral symmetry, some have radial symmetry, and it almost seems like a conglomerate of. You can almost see different, you know, like cephalopods. They have copper-based blood. That's not how the rest of the fauna on this planet evolved, because we've got iron-based blood. You know, that's the most prevalent um, metal on the planet on the surface. You know, it almost seems like them, ticks, spiders, they're all in that same group that almost seems like they took from one planet and other things that are related, and they, you know, that they've made Earth kind of a, you know, terrarium of piling in all these different species and things that, from different planets, and that we, you know, we're an oasis in the middle of a bunch of dead rocks. So I dare say that, you know, it's their home too, and they don't want to see us sanitize it and put it into a sterile planet and end up like Mars or Venus. So, you know, are they going to rescue us? Hell no, I don't think so. But they might save the rest of the planet. We don't know. We just don't know.
Yep. If someone says they know, you know what we say
Yeah.
about that. They're trying to steer you the wrong way. No one knows the whole thing.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right, Bob. We could be an oasis where, you know, we got to look at this differently. We are a spaceship hurtling through space at like 600,000 miles an hour, going around, spinning around this galaxy. You know, we are basically a spaceship ourselves, but we are self-sustained. You know, for organic life. You know, we're an oasis. It is a rarity. You know, there's billions of planets, I'm sure, like ours throughout, you know, the universe, but in our local environment, no. You know, we haven't found anything yet that has signatures of organic life still on it. So I dare say that, you know, it's kind of like a pit stop on a desolate highway that you know, there's that one oasis where you can pull in and get gas, get water, refuel, get some food. You know, it just seems like an oasis in a big, you know, pile of rocks floating around. So hey, Andrew's here. So welcome.
Oh, cool. Bob Perkins. It's a perfect planet so far as we know. I like to think so, and it could be better. That could be able to grow different advanced aliens life. This is just my opinion, and opinions are like, you know what? We all have one, and my opinion is, if I was a betting man, I would say we have more than one type of species in these craft. That's my call. I'm calling it as I see it. That's my guess, but I don't know.
Yeah. So, Vanta, by all means, you can play devil's advocate all day long, as long as we're, you know, we can vehemently disagree as long as we're civil about it. I don't expect people to agree with everything I say. I'd rather they didn't. I don't want an echo chamber. But, you know, we can be respectful of each other's opinions if we can present it without causing, you know, inflammation of tempers and things. I think I
Get
can communicate
personal about it.
enough, yeah, to not get, you know, to not make it inflammatory.
Yeah.
You know, and I respect other people's viewpoints. I don't expect anyone to agree with everything I say. You know, if you don't agree with someone or you think I'm wrong, by all means, I don't know everything. And I get things wrong sometimes. Happens a lot, actually. So if I'm wrong on something, call me out on it. But, you know, just ask that you be polite about it. So, you know.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm wrong, and a lot of times people saying, you know, I'm sorry. It takes a normal person to do that. People, we're normal people. Someone had a good point here. I'll probably get blocked by him on Twitter now. He blocks everyone.
McQuest.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he gets his feelings hurt.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if he doesn't, you know, if he can't receive like he gives, he needs to get out of this gig, you know?
Yeah, if you're thin-skinned, you're ugly, and your mama dresses you funny, and you get kind of, you know, been out of shape about that, you might want to find another hobby.
Yeah. Yeah, and he throws a lot of hate out. He's not gentle with anybody's feelings. I mean, he's just brash, abrupt, and rude, and that's his shtick. You know, he gets money for that. Controversy sells. You know, we're not getting paid for this.
So when's the money running into our pockets?
We're making bank, man. We're cashing in by the thousands a day now. We're rolling in it.
I'm looking for my wallet, and it doesn't seem to be like there's anything in there.
Yeah, butterflies.
When I'll be asking for money, it's going to be for the it's going to be a 100% charity profit that Lou, Rob, and I are going to come out with some information about that soon. Let's see if I have any banners or boards for that. Oh, right here. Very honored. Lou and Rob have agreed to, we're going to name this Shannon Scott's. That's me. That's me, folks. Shannon Scott's annual Vets and Vets for Wounded Vets and Pets fundraiser. And, you know, if I was a betting man, not saying this is going to happen, it's going to be a year-long fundraiser. However, there's going to be a month. I'm just throwing this out there. This is not in stone, folks. In fact, I haven't even talked to the board members. The board members is one unidentified individual. We will not speak of his name. And it's Lou. Yes, that Lou. El Dorado. That's it. Lou El Dorado, folks. We got Lou, Rob, and I are the board members. And then we're looking for more advisory board members, people who have experience or something to offer and help make this the best charity that we can make it. And I believe it's going to be quite large for what I know so far. So I'm very, very proud. I'm very honored. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. However, if I was a betting man, I would put $1 down saying that Lou is going to keep his word that he announced on a few shows ago, saying that how about me donating one of my restored World War II Jeeps to this fundraiser. Could you imagine? All you have to do is, it's like whatever the amount would be. This isn't in stone. Let's say it's $5 for a ticket, right? And you want to put $5 toward it, and you get a name in the hat, and then we'll get this person coming along, and the winner is, boom, John Doe from Missouri. Congratulations, you just got yourself a Lou Elizondo signed, restored World War II Jeep, my friend. Woo! Oh, it's going to be awesome, folks. Oh, I got chill bumps. And just make sure, because I'm a lucky guy. Everything I ask for has come to light. I will not be participating in this. Just make sure it's conflict of interest. If I put money in it, I'm going to win. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to do other things. I think I'm going to be. There's a photo of Lou that he's going to be signing. If you want a copy of it, like I want to just throw this out there. It'd be like $20 for a poster, artwork done by yours truly, from the photography of, I think it was GQ, of Lou just standing there. One of the best pictures I think of him. And I did it in a style that's quite popular these days with the last 10 years. And I put Patriot because I believe he's a patriot from my heart. And I made that before I actually knew Lou. So, yeah. Now, other things, I know that I'm in the process of creating a logo for this charity, and I do not have a clue right now. I've been so busy trying to feel better and doing family functions and stuff that I haven't made a logo, but hopefully soon one will materialize. I've made a lot of logos in my life for other charities, fortunately. So I had some experience. And what I'll do is come up with this logo. Then once I have a logo, I can take like this vector graphic and then I can go and make a t-shirt. And so what's going to happen is you'll see Rob and I sporting our collared shirt. Maybe it's black, maybe it's blue, maybe it's pink, who knows? And you'll have our logo here. Now, Lou's going to get a shirt. And I have a feeling, I have a sneaky suspicion he's going to be, every time he's interviewed, I think he's going to be wearing that shirt, I think. And I bet, if I was a betting man, if I had a hat made, I bet you he'd be wearing that hat on Fox News, on Tucker Carlson. You know, having my name right there, what an honor. And for being able to kind of give back to the Wounded Warrior. What they done for me, I tell you the story real quick, since we're just chit-chatting here, folks. What happened was I was at 90%, I was at 80% disability. But the thing is, I couldn't get a job or anything because I was incapacitated until 3 or 4 p.m. getting at what we call copious amounts of junk out of my lungs, like more than you want to know. And I'm drowning on a daily basis, and I'm doing all these meds and stuff. And well, I'm worse now. I've got oxygen, obviously, but obviously, some people even. I think someone once say that this was a prop to get sympathy or something, Rob?
Yeah. We were capitalizing on faking your illness for sympathy.
Yep. I mean, hold on a second, folks. I think I've been called out. I mean, I don't even have this thing plugged in. It just sits here. I've been wearing the same stupid cannula forever. Put it back on. Yeah, it's a prop. Yeah, trust me. If you see pictures of me, I'll take this off. I don't want people to see that I wear oxygen. I don't like. I'm not embarrassed. Oh my gosh, my dog's laying on my oxygen tube. But yeah, so no, I'm okay. Back on the story. I get off track really easy. I have the adult attention deficit disorder. Where's my Adderall? But yeah, Wounded Warrior. What happened is that I got myself I became alumni and got me an advocate, and they made a phone call and told them where in the book where I should be 100% because I'm incapacitated more than so many hours a day. And guess what, folks? That Wounded Warrior, I had almost PTSD for just dealing with a VA. This is before the Trump administration, okay? Before the president came in and put his foot down saying, hey, you guys need to square yourselves away because there's this list that you have on the side and people are dying and you're showing that, you got all this done and you're getting these bonuses. I get really upset about hearing about that. And I still wonder till this day, and maybe somebody in the audience can enlighten us. Has anyone gone to jail over that? I wonder, has anyone been, maybe hopefully they've been fired at least, right? Well, have they been able to get back all that money, all those bonuses that's been bogus, right?
No,
and have they, and people on these waiting lists, on these lists that's over here that's not being accounted for. Are they accountable for these people's deaths, their medical care that they did not receive, that they should have?
Most of the time, no. They slap on the wrist. They recover just pennies on the dollar. They change policies. They change rules. They switch out leadership. And then they, go on down the road.
Yeah.
Now, Lou's not benefited off the phenomenon. Avram, he had to resign from his career that he spent his whole adult life working to build up, because in order for him to fulfill his oath of enlistment to the American people, he had to resign to continue doing that, because his superiors would not let him brief Mattis like it needed to be done. The only way he could do it legally and not break his oath was to resign. And he suffered horribly from having to do that, because then Harry Reid doxed him for several years. He ended up living in a old trashed out trailer underneath a Quonset hut for over a year. And also why he left
TSA,
he wouldn't compromise his integrity, so he left, and he got his pay cut from that too. So standing on integrity has cost him immensely from this. And all the personal time that it's cost his family and him, they've suffered quite a bit from this.
Yeah.
And now that they're under, the military-industrial complex is not going gently into that good night of allowing disclosure to happen, and they are very forceful in trying to prevent that. So he's not. The personal sacrifice is tremendous. He's not getting paid for any of his lectures. When he travels like Brazil and things, they may pay for his plane ticket because he can't afford it, but he didn't get paid for any of that. Nothing.
Yeah.
He travels to Capitol Hill frequently. He doesn't get reimbursed for gas. He's doing it because it's the right thing to do. The only payoff he's going to get at some point is other people are going to step up, pick up that torch, and he can retire and go open a bar in Tahiti or something someday and get out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was making more money with Uncle Sam. He had benefits. He had an excellent career.
I would say, and I'm almost ashamed that I would say that Lou was a better person than I am, because I had a choice between doing what Lou did and doing what I did. Would I be, if I was in that situation, would I shut up in order to be able to have my pension right now?
Everybody before him did that have investigated this, because we've had UFO programs out of the military, out of the DOD since Project Blue Book, and they all sat down and shut up when they found out what this was. They didn't come forward and risk their careers and their stars and stripes and brass and their seat. They wouldn't do it. But now he's a private contractor, and he's not making anywhere near what he was as a GS-15. And he was moving up, in the ranks, and would have continued to. That's all done now. He had to sacrifice all that, and I think his pension's even gone.
Yeah. That's Arlen's talking about. I blame the VA for my ex killing himself. His PTSD was completely out of control and just kept postponing his appointments, causing him to be on and probably being off his meds. It was awful. I am very sorry to hear about that. I condolences to you and your family. I'm very sorry. That's horrible.
And that's why when I started with the Battle Buddy Foundation on Facebook in 2012, he started out. He had like 700 people liking his Facebook page. He was selling T-shirts with a service dog out in front of malls, and we helped him get ramped up to a national level. But before then, we had this huge group that we built up on Facebook, and we'd have veterans at risk quite frequently that would come on there and say, "Hey, I need to talk to somebody. I tried calling the VA. They put me on hold. Told me to make an appointment, and I need to talk to somebody now." So I'd shoot them my number, and sometimes I'd stay up all night, 8-10 hour marathons talking people down from suicide. I got pretty good at it, actually. So.
Yeah. Well, hello there, Indiana. Oh, by the way, about 5 minutes ago, happy 4th of July Central Time. Woo! All right. There's your fireworks. Here in Jacksonville, we'll shoot them off for you. We can get any excuse to shoot off fireworks here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, we have had our wool pulled over our eyes by the government, but the government is not a monolith, and Lou is not responsible for everything the government does. That's why he's on Capitol Hill pushing for government reform on our behalf, yours included, if you're an American. So, yeah. No, not a fit, dude. You're kind of poking the bear on this channel.
Yeah. If Lou was pulling any type of shenanigans, Rob and I would know. We're friends of Lou. In fact, we were friends with Lou before we became friends. That's kind of neat. But I could tell you, if Lou was not on the uppity up on this, I would not be saying and doing the things I say, about him. I wouldn't say the things I do about him, right?
Yeah.
I'm a man of my word. I have honor and integrity as well. If anybody would take my advice, I would tell you, I would trust my children with Lou. He is an honorable man. And if you haven't heard the stories of what this man has done for me while I was in the hospital, he is the most caring individual. All right, so what happened was I made that art piece that you guys may have already seen of Lou, and it says Patriot underneath it. And I had a copy of it, and I wanted to give it to Lou, but it's not like you guys. It's not like you have Lou's phone number or his address in your back pocket, right? So I did the next best thing. As an investigator, I had to ask myself, who would have his phone number I could contact in order to, could you hook me up by, can you get this to him? And that would happen to be our friend Martin Willis. If you're not familiar with him, look it up. He's he had me on a show one day. I did my first interview on there. That kind of got me into this. So he sprung me into doing this. So yes, Martin Willis. I was able to mail my artwork to Martin Willis. Martin Willis then slapped on the address of, here you go, Lou. I also put a nice letter in it. Yeah. And I sent it to him. I got a personal phone call from that dude, a couple of them, actually. He was a grateful individual. I can't believe I was talking to Lou Elizondo on the phone. Oh, my God. I'm on the phone with Lou, honey. Oh, that's great. She don't care. She knows who Lou is. So what happened was I was a little bit communicating with Rob through another channel that he was on, and I said, "Hey, I've been, basically, I'm in contact with Lou as well." And then I became hospitalized. I was really sick too. I go to the hospital a lot. Okay, I'll just say it that way. But I was really sick. Well, they contact Lou and say, "Hey, that dude Shannon, well, he's really bad off in the Mayo. He's at the Mayo Clinic Hospital in North Florida." That dude called me every day, check on me. He also called the nurses station. And believe it or not, this man would call the administrator's office. And he never told me that. I found out from the people working there that he was doing this. So that's the kind of guy Lou is. And he and I and Rob, we talk very often. I don't like talking shop. I rarely do talk shop with him. I basically, it's more personal. How you doing? This, that, and the other. And we talk about my puppy a lot, which I will share that right now. Check out my puppy. Right. He is knocked out right down. Let me disconnect all this. Hold on. We'll get a better shot. Oh my gosh. There we go. He's tired. We went over to Grandma's today. He's pooped. And yeah, he's become a very good friend. Just you get a chance, watch the last interview Lou ever did was with me, and it was not really an interview. It was more like friends talking. I didn't want to talk shop even in that video or the interview I had with him. It was more like, "How are you doing, Lou?" and stuff like that. And that's when he broke on the show. Let me bring it up. Hold on, folks. Got to bring this up right here. I deleted it
anymore.
It's hashtag Lou for Congress. He said a possibility that he may be running for Congress. So yes, he broke that great news here on our channel. So honored he did that, and we got the ball rolling on that interview. That hey, we're all three that we're gaining more board members, but we're doing this charity. You know, that's been like a goal of all of ours. So we're just making dreams come true for ourselves, making this happen, and we're going to make other people's lives better while we do that. That's what we're getting out of it, folks. We're not getting a penny.
A cult follows blindly, and they follow without facts. We trust but verify. In fact, Lou has come out and even stated recently that he doesn't. He's been instructed to stick to his to digress from social media and not talk shop anymore for a while because of some things that have evolved that were beyond his control. So, we talk about remodels, his Jeeps, to talk about his wife with her dog had surgery, things like that. He's genuine. He's a friend. And like Shannon said, he'll go out of his way to help anybody. The guy has a heart the size of Texas. I consider myself a good judge of character, and he's the real deal. He walks the walk. He's held up to every promise he said he'd make. So like he says, he under promises and over delivers, and he's done that on everything he said he would do so far. He still has a security clearance. So those that call Lou a liar, they got nothing. They couldn't prove that because he hasn't. He would lose his clearance if he had. And that in itself is telling. So, there are things that we look for the facts, and wash out what is cult-like and propaganda. We know who the true people in this field are now, and Shannon and I both have vetted out to where we know who the major players are that are pushing for genuine disclosure with a genuine agenda that aren't trying to fool people. We've been able to sort those people out. So if anybody in the chat now has an idea of, hey, are these people legit or not? Hit us up. One of us will know, and if we don't, we know somebody that we can ask. There's a lot of people in this panel that are very knowledge in this field. We're new to this compared to some of them. They've been in it for decades. We've got people on this panel that are extremely educated in this topic that can tell you who to trust and who not to, and why. So
what I did was, if I had to make a team of people that would be in the need to know, I started following those people. And people like Mr. West, I didn't put them in my subscription, for instance, of the people that I followed. I would, before I got to know Lou, I would go on YouTube and put Lou Elizondo and then find out the latest uploads and find out all the shows he was on. And I would get and folks, if you have listened to Lou long enough, we all know, if you just read it between the lines, he's talking to you. Am I right? Am I right? He's talking to all of us, but he's not saying what he wants to say. You have to be able to read in between the lines.
Yeah, you could talk to Bob Berkins there, sir, and he'll tell you he didn't trust Lou at all for a long time. But if I was able to turn Bob Berkins to let him see that Lou has some legitimacy, then I think I can give out a compelling argument, because if anybody knows Bob marches by the beat of his own drum, and if he smells bullshit, he's going to call you on it in a heartbeat. If I was able to convince him to give him a fair shake, I think I got a pretty compelling argument.
Yeah, If there's something on this show that you're concerned about, or you want to call us out, or we can have a normal discussion, a mature one, without putting anyone down, like me being disgusting. Yeah, you're going to get deleted or and probably blocked if you do that. You hurt my feelings. So yeah, let's have the conversation. That's in our motto, or that's the our mission statement is to continue the conversation. And what am I talking about? Lou started this conversation. And I didn't have this conversation that I would have this conversation with you guys, but it's kind of, I just picked it up. I was like, you know what, Rob, I want to put in that we're going to continue the conversation, because how many times have we heard Lou talk about, I'm just here to start the conversation. Well, since he's, took a little bit of a back seat, I think we should continue that conversation and not try to, if we have good stuff, we're going to put it out. We're not here to send you to a website, a paid.
No paywalls. We're here to have a genuine discussion with some genuine people and have a safe place to do it. We can agree to disagree as long as we can do it mutually civilly. Which I think we've got some fairly decent people going on here. There's a lot of them that came from other areas that that I know a lot of them already. So they're like family to me. And we protect anybody that comes here. It's a safe haven. We're not gonna let anybody get dogpiled unless they're being a complete dick. You can agree to, you can disagree all you want. Just please be civil about it. That's all I ask. And present a logical argument of why you feel the way you do. We'll listen. If you've got evidence and something to bear, we'll look at it. We'll examine it as a community. We're not a cult. We can be taught. So if you've got something that is factual, or you think it is, bring it out. Let's see it. We'll discuss it.
What I think I'd like to do for the audience, and first of all, I want to thank everybody who is, and I cannot believe we have like almost 30 people and watching us right now. I told Rob that just the other day that if there was just one person, I would do what I'm doing. Besides, I like looking at Rob and having a discussion with him, and it sounds better than just being on the phone, because I'm on the phone with this guy till 4 a.m. here locally, Eastern time. So it's 3 there. Probably a bear running around his yard at the same time. That's another story, folks. That's another story.
That damn bear.
That damn bear.
Oh, hello. Yeah, stepped out my front door for those who didn't hear it the other night. I think right after a live stream or right before.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, it scared the bejesus out of me. I stepped out my front door thinking it was a deer in my yard with a pistol in my hand, and it was this bear that was like probably a 700-pounder, not 10 feet from my front door, stretched out against the oak tree, looking for ants, I guess. But he looked my way, and I looked. When I could finally make out what I was looking at, I'm like, shit! I just screamed, and like a little girl, jumped back, and the bear looked at me. We made eye contact. Luckily, he went bolting the other way as I went back into my screen, because that little 357, I don't think would just do anything but piss it off. I needed a bigger gun.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, you need a bigger gun than a 357. I'll buy the 357 from you. My goodness.
That's the last resort that's on top of me. It's a belly buster.
Right. Oh, so I wanted to say, when I say, hey, we had almost 30, look at that. We went down to 27. I shouldn't have jinxed us like that. But I want to say that if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and please hit the like. Apparently that helps with the algorithms, and put stuff in the chat and in the comment section. And you just never know when Rob and I will have a hair up our butt to do this again in the middle of the night. Because I called him. Well, I didn't call him. I texted him. I said, hey, you want to do a show? I'm almost home. Maybe we can do it around 10:30. He said, sure, let's do it. Let me get some coffee. He had to take a nap because, Rob's old. So
Yeah,
we
all busted.
yeah, so he had to drink some coffee, and man, you get the notification, right? Hey. And then what does Rob do? He tweets it, and then we get more people like that too. Also, I'll put like UFO videos and stuff that I think is interesting because I have a good eye for it. What's interesting, like for instance, Rob sent me a video of this this diamond shaped UFO, and I'll put a link in the description after the show if you're still interested. But I think it's from the Sun as well. Is that correct? The Sun, is that the article?
Yeah.
Rob, yeah. Well,
Yes.
it's somewhere overseas. I don't know where it's over, but there's this triangle in the sky, and I think it's pretty. It's whatever is there is really there in my mind, in my eye. I got a good eye when it comes to CGI. I work with a lot of like Photoshop and video editing and stuff. And if it's CGI, man, it's got to be really good CGI. I don't think this is good CGI. I think there's really an art. There's something there which may have a perfect, explainable answer why it's there, and it may not be ET at all, or maybe it is. I don't know, but I was trying to be devil's advocate there. So what I'm trying to say is they're interesting. I'll put the videos on our Facebook page, and please right now or at the end of the show, pop up another tab on your computer, go on to Facebook, go into groups, and it's Military Witnesses to UAP, and please hit that like and follow us there because I'll be putting up articles that are very interesting, like from UFO Man. He always has good stuff, right? I've been posting his stuff on there. And where is he at right now? He's not even in the chat. I haven't even seen him yet. That's okay. The guy has a lot. Yeah, a lot of people are not in bed.
That's a miss.
Yeah. And so we'll let you have tonight off there, UFO Man. So
I didn't even know I was going to be on here till 10 minutes before we were here. So, I barely had time to notify me.
Yeah. So hit that notification so hey, this is an unannounced live broadcast, and I don't want to miss it. And you get to see our pretty faces up here. Making bank, Rob. We're making bank, son.
We're rolling in it.
Okay. Drones are the new swamp gas. Yes, they are. A CGI swamp gas explanation for recent. Yeah. So the folks there that were testifying in front of Congress did say a little bit of a fib that these calling them drones when there's already been a study that says it is not. It kind of, and I think Jeremy Carbell came out with that article, which I have it on my phone and I can read it, but I think I'll read it another time. I'm enjoying just chit chatting with you guys, and I'm glad you are all here hearing our conversation. If you guys do have a question, please put it in all caps. Like Susan goes time traveling Asians. Hello, Susan. Kudos to you guys for the veteran show with Lou. Thank you for your service. Thank you for thanking us. I'm appreciative because I know there's been a generation before me, the ones who served, they were spit on in the airports and stuff, called baby killers. We know. I'm very grateful.
Anyway, and they didn't get recognized, and thanked for their service by the government properly until the 80s. And that was pathetic. That was an awful war, and especially because of how they were treated when they got back. And that's a big reason why they self-medicated and a lot of it and killed themselves, either one. In war, you need to be, they know that the reward system of being able to give medals and honoring their sacrifices in combat and things, it allows them to take the responsibility of the deaths off of their shoulders personally, because they're doing their duty and they were recognized for doing it. And when they didn't get that recognition like our soldiers did in all other wars, they internalized it by being called baby killers and all that crap. So yeah, it's going to weigh on your mind when you killed a lot of people in combat, and then you're called, baby killer and all that crap for it instead of appreciated. And a lot of them were drafted. They didn't want to go there in the first damn place. And then they come back and be treated like that. Of course, they're going to be self-medicating and worse in some instances. I've had several friends kill themselves, and most of them self-medicated themselves to death. It was awful to watch. And these are people I grew up with. That were my uncles, my mentors, surrogate dad, and some of my really close friends. They're all dead. Every last one. I can't think of one of them that's alive now. They're all gone.
I need to. Brad brings up the Brazil hearings versus the U.S. one. Do the governments consult on policy, or we don't get involved with Banana Republic? I do know that we communicate some information with other nations. Is that correct, Rob? Am I correct on that assessment?
Unfortunately, I think Biden's going to get bogged down wherever he can cry for oil. We're going to get caught up in it. Yeah. Freedom. Go ahead.
Arlene says y'all should link your Facebook group on your YouTube about tab so people can find you easier. I agree. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. We're green. We're so green at this.
Yeah, we're open for suggestions and coaching and even constructive criticism. Just to be gentle. That's all we ask, because we got tender feelings.
Yeah. Might make me cry and said, Shannon's gross.
Yeah.
He's being gross.
Yeah, you're a bad man. You're a bad man.
I'll tell you all about it too.
Yeah. Tear. Yep. It's all right. There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, there ain't no crying in baseball. I was still a young child when our vets came home from NAM, and I remember all the news about them being called baby killers and such pissed me off at the time. It still does. Yeah, I know, right? I was born in 70. Rob was born in 54, I think. And no.
Yeah, I'm a bad man.
What I was trying to make is that when I served from 1989 to 2009, my 20 years of Navy service, I want to tell you, I felt supported by my country, the entire pro-military. I'm a pro-military guy. I love going to air shows as a kid. That's what probably got me recruited. The military spends a lot of money for the Thunderbirds. My cousin calls them the Thunder Chickens because he's Air Force. And we got the Blue Angels. We got the Golden Knights, the skydivers, and they spend a lot of money sending these aircraft every weekend around this nation so that people like me go, I want to do that. And then before you know it, they're chipping paint on the side of the ship. So I tell you what, the Blue Angels at NES Jacks, hold on, folks. I have got to show you a photo. So stand by. I'm going to put myself on mute.
As Bill, did you have to go to Vietnam? Because I'm not familiar with how the draft was specifically. But yeah, if you missed it, you got lucky, obviously. Good deal. That felt horrible for I grew up. I was a little kid when my uncles got out of Vietnam. I remember wearing their helmets and running around with their flashlights. And they made me toy guns, out of wood. And when I was 13, my mentor, since I didn't have a dad, took me in. And when other kids were learning football, he was special forces and was teaching me how to count sentries off and combat Aikido and improvise explosives and munitions and that kind of good stuff that any good self-respecting mentor would teach a teenager to do. So yeah, that was my teen years. A real life Karate Kid, and I'm not making it up one bit. I still got his nightstick. He was an expert in 18 different weapons and a black belt in Aikido. So, but he had a heart of gold. You know, he taught me a lot of stuff how to fight back. But he also told me if I ever bullied anybody, he was going to kick my ass till that kingdom come. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, can you hear me okay, Rob?
Yep.
Super. So, as one of the hobbies, I need my oxygen on.
Oh yeah,
I
Raz,
can tell already I need it.
They already saw through what Bray and Moultrie did with their testimony in the public portion, and how they were being completely dodging the truth and minimizing it.
Yep.
They were held to task on that, and I guarantee you that net will be closed in like a stainless steel when they laid the foundations the first go around, which it may not seem like much to people, but they chose every question with an intent, and that they knew was going to be a long game. So you know, it's not where you start, and it's not the battle. You know, how many battles they win. It's who wins the war. This is long from over, and there will be more hearings, and I dare say the DoD is not going to come out on top of this at the end of it. So yeah.
In fact, I was told we may recognize some of the people that's going to be testifying in this upcoming hearing. So anyway,
yeah, it was 21 trillion, but that you gotta that there was a little bit dishonest with how they framed that up in the media, because 21 trillion over 15 years. If they went into some dark programs, you're talking about DARPA and things like that, and the reason they say it was disappeared in the audit is because they know what parent programs the dollars went into, but those parent programs couldn't produce the receipts to say here's what we spent it on. So then by the auditors, it's considered not accounted for. They know what programs they went into, at least their parent program, but from there it got a little murky with them. And yeah, they should have had a little better oversight on it. I agree with that. But some things we can't know where it went, and they like to make a political dog and pony show out of this stuff when it suits their agendas, to call out and say, hey, you know, we can't find this money, and they do it for political posturing and to reallocate money to the DoD. They all play their games. It's going to go somewhere anyway. It'd be better if we could see where it went, but we're not going to know where everything went. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Just a reminder, if you have a question, some of you guys are doing it, and like Raz is doing it. I see you all caps, okay? So it pops out at us. But I want to show you guys. I have a question here, or a comment here from Austin saying the Blue Angels at NES Jacks, they are amazing. They are. And man, if you're still listening, Austin, let me give you a little tip. Get there early. And when you do, make sure you have a chair and everything you're legally able to bring in, and go straight toward the flight. Get yourself so that you can see the skyline of Jacksonville and have no aircraft. Like to the left of that will be the P-3 Orions. And then to the right of that will be these buildings. I think they're fire stations for the airport there. Find yourself that you have the skyline so you can have photos like this. This is on metal, by the way. But I've got unbelievable images when they were here a couple years ago. I love F-22 Raptors. This is just a regular photo. I don't like regular photos. I'm now kind of spoiled on the metal ones. But I love F-22s, man. I can shoot those all day. Show and tell time, folks. This is my baby right here. This is a Canon 5D Mark IV, and I've got the 24 to 70 2.8 EF L lens. Man, I love this stuff.
Yeah, Raz, I'm not advocating that money needs to stay dark and that we don't we shouldn't have accountability for it. And I detest war. I hate it. Somebody that grew up very rough, I well understand the need for a good self-defense capability. If our nation didn't have the military we do, none of the civil stuff could go on. It wouldn't matter if we were overran, because the Chinese perpetually want to invade. That's no joke. Their entire military is geared toward invading the United States and taking over the planet. We can't ignore that. But we cannot have these warmongers like Biden that gets in because war is good. You know, for the military-industrial complex, we're like 60% of the world's armament sales. If there's no war, they're not making bank. So a lot of this shit is for profit. I mean, instead of giving Ukraine the help they need to win the war decisively and quickly and in a hurry, we're procrastinating the arms we're giving them. Biden said that he's going to give them enough armaments to put up a good fight. Oh, Germany said, screw that. We're going to give them what they need to win it. What the hell?
Yeah.
They've got to be held accountable. We can't have all these career politicians, and that's partly why with Lou Ran, he sees those problems with our government, and it needs reform. We can't, there needs to be term limits for Congress. They're in there making, hand over fist money by selling armaments because they're in bed with these, defense contractors and shit. That they do need held to task on that, completely. But there are some instances we don't need to know everything, but that should be the exception, not the rule. That's what I'm advocating. So don't misunderstand me at all. I'm a strong advocate of trust but verify.
Yeah. So we got a question here. Best question of the night. Let's get any sighting, Shannon, in your 20 years of service. Thanks again for your service, by the way. Thank you very much. No. Now, I thought I saw something that was strange, but I thought it could be something that could be easily explained. What I saw was on the starboard side of an Aegis cruiser. I was on the USS Lady Goff. We were off the coast of Florida, North Sea Florida, probably maybe even straight east of South Carolina, I would guess. So one day we were heading west and the sun was setting. And I saw a light come up over the horizon. I remember it was like 20 degrees to the starboard side of the bow of the ship, right? And it started coming straight up. And that's common. You see contacts all the time, especially when that's your job, being on a lookout. So I seen this contact come up and it appeared to stop. Now, it could be taking a U-turn for all I know from that much of a distance. And what I saw was the light went right back over the horizon. That was it. That probably could be explained, but that was probably the neatest or the only thing I ever saw, right? And I don't even tell people I saw a UFO because I don't think that even qualifies for one. However, like I said earlier, I have a UFO joke that I think that I pulled off that should go down in history, and I will tell that joke at a later time. When things get really boring around here, folks. Okay, thank you for your question, and thank you for capping all your texts so we know we can go straight to it. To the next question. I thought congressional lawyers could see the gaps in dishonesty. Oh, they did. By was it Bray and Moultrie? Can't they appeal these specific? Let me tell you. You know what I think is going on? It's positioning and 3D chess. What do you think, Rob? 3D chess going on?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Every question that they framed, even the Wilson document, all of it was a means to an end that had been planned out months in advance. They didn't hold this hearing at the drop of a hat and just say, hey, I think it's a good idea that we just kick up a hearing, in 24 hours notice. No, they planned this out for months, probably years, and they had a lot of
the questionings too.
Yeah, they had a lot of pilot testimony and a lot of testimony by Lou and all those people from ATIP and the UAP task force. And there was a lot of people on the Hill for a lot of time telling what they knew to Congress. And you got to remember, before the 2017 article came out in the New York Times, December 16th, telling that we actually did have a UAP project, or that our government did have a UFO program. They thought it ended in '69 like the rest of us. They didn't like being lied to by the DoD. They're pissed when they found out how much they've been lied to by all these testimonies of pilots and those that have a TS clearance. They're really pissed now that they've been lied to. They're not taking this line down. Even though that's why we have bipartisan participation. All of them are pissed, but they also smell money, in voter base because. Let's face it, reverse engineered technologies like this, it's a hot commodity. Of course it is. It's going to make nuclear capabilities look like a slingshot. And I hate to think that we're going to use it for war, but I'd like to believe we would build it, but we wouldn't field it. We just saber rattling like we did with our ICBMs. We've never had to use those the whole time they've been sitting in silos. So there's no reason to think that as soon as we get nuclear that we get reverse engineered UFO technologies that would just go out and fight the planet. That's just ridiculous. The United States won't do that. I guarantee that China and Russia would. They've proven what they're about. But the U.S. wouldn't. And if they tried, there's 80 million gun owners and over 500 million guns. I dare say that our government is not going to do the shit that's, ultimately against the will of the people and the Constitution. At some point, they can only push it so far, and they know that. And damn sure we wouldn't allow them to try and invade another country just for colonialism or whatever. And we've already learned a lesson on oil wars and things. And I commend all of our soldiers that fought in those wars. They did the right thing. They served their country. When they're called up, like I was trained to do. I don't ask why. I just trust that my superiors know what the hell they're doing, and they send me in. I do what I'm trained to do. That's it. I don't worry about the politics of it. I can't. That's a good soldier doesn't. They follow what's constitutionally correct, and they don't follow illegal orders. But you can't sit and second guess in the foxhole whether you should be there or not. It's gonna get people killed. You're putting in there, and ultimately, when you go into combat, you're there to save your own skin and those you were fighting with. Apple pie and the flag goes out the window. You're there to survive. That's it, until you can get the hell out of there. Plain and simple. Yeah, Raz, they are waiting because right now they're having the dog and pony show with the 1-6 incursion because it's political theater, trying to get Trump declared an insurrectionist so he can't run for election again. That's what they're trying to do. They won't get it done probably. And then once that subsides, then they can have more hearings on this because right now, with the election cycle, they got to wait for this dog and pony show farce to settle down before they can have actual hearings on this. But it will happen, I think, within the next couple months, somewhere in there. It's not set in stone yet that I know of. They're just waiting for a good time, a lull in the storm of political theater to have an actual hearing on it where they have their ducks lined up. They got to pick the right timing. And they want to have all their evidence lined up and their testimonies, and then pick the right point in the political scheme of things where it can make the most impact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How long until the non-government high-quality video and supporting data comes out? Like stopping documentation. Basically, all the 4K, 120 frame a second. Probably 8K by now, right? So,
well,
I'd like to see that too.
I'm fairly confident within a year we're going to see our government come out and finally admit that this is not human technologies. That is going, from there, I don't know, but I'm fairly confident that our government will acknowledge that this is non-human. Give it about a year. It may be less, but I think about a year. They're wanting to fill out the waters on this. They already know the answer to that. They just don't want to come out and boom, here it is, with the Connor report, crap like that. They think that it might cause panic. Who knows? He could. But there's no rush with the government. They've been at this for 75 years. Why? Well, what's another year going to be? For them.
Yeah.
They can draw this out a little bit, and I think they should. I just don't. I don't think they ought to just throw the doors open and boom, here it is. I think a year's time after waiting 75 years, because the last hearings were in 66. Another year is a small drop compared to then. That we're actually going to have some tangible forward positive results in this topic. Unlike last time, it got shoved back in the bottle. That's not happening this time. And as far as the traitors with our the pledge that upholds the Constitution, there are lines in the sand that if they push it too far, they'll get checked. That's all I can say about that. I'm confident about that one.
Me too. I'm convinced in my lifetime we'll know more than what we know today.
Yeah. And
okay. Yeah.
Well, Braz is saying, what about some form of the government working with ET? On my gut feeling, I have to wonder why the Air Force is going so hardcore to not answer, to be as belligerent as they are over and above the normal, what I would think is a scale of belligerence. They're not just withholding for national security, and because they may have reverse engineered something and they don't want to share the wealth. I think that's part of it. I just have to wonder too if they didn't actually cut a deal with some faction. I hate to think that they could or would, but I don't really have a rational explanation of why the Air Force especially is going so hardcore to not allow. They're acting like the fourth branch of government. It just seems to be over the three legitimate branches. Like they're allowing the civilian aspects of our government to exist by their leisure, but they really hold the power. No, it doesn't. That's not how this works. But I have to question their motives at this point. It's almost as supernatural, that they're being affected to not come out with this. I don't. There are some people that are researchers in this for decades now that think that both camps are being influenced by the phenom to some degree. Those that want it to come out, and those that don't. And then there's a war going on with ET. For supremacy on this topic, that humans are waging too, but it seems like they are playing their games too. They're not fallible. So I don't know, but I think that there's a lot more to this than we know now, but I hope at some point we will learn the facts and the answers to this.
Yep. All right, I got a couple questions up here already highlighted. One is, let's see. Russ says, I suppose if you go to war with the taxpayers, will look the other way. Do Americans feel our money they spent on SAPs is in, I guess, no problem because of our nation's safety? What do you think? I don't have a comment on that.
Did what?
I don't have a comment on that. Nothing comes to mind. It says, I suppose if you go to war, we can tax. We, the taxpayers, will look the other way. Do Americans feel our money they spent on these SAPs is no problem because of our nation's safety?
No, I kind of addressed that a few minutes ago.
Okay.
And there does need to be a lot more oversight on that. I don't agree with them saying, "Oh, it's national security." Just like like Christopher Mellon's article, the overclassification of data is hampering our national security, and that needs reformed as well. When there is a lot of data on that he is aware of on the UAP topic that could be released, but so far isn't. And I think that's part of what they were waiting for with the hearings is they're working on immunity. So people that are bound with NDAs can come forward and tell what they know without reprisal. So that is a good thing.
Get you back out of that. I don't think people want to see me eating blueberries. All right, so someone has a question for me. If you have, we target or what? If you ever see me doing this,
yeah,
it's because my son and we communicate with sounds. Instead of saying, Dad, I love you, since you can't talk, that means I love you. It also means daddy. So if he goes up to, if I'm not here and like, where's my daddy? Or all day long, we'll just go about the house and I give him a sound right back. Like if he's going to bed, he brushes teeth and he'll right before he goes to bed. So it's very sweet, very sweet. I love this question. Any photography questions, I will take them. This will be the we continue the conversation along with questions about photography with Shannon and Rob. Rob, what do you know about photography? It doesn't matter. I'll answer the question.
Point and shoot. That's your field, man.
Well,
I'm blind as a bat.
I am passionate about my photography, folks. I wish I could just show you all my stuff. I tell you what, if you would like to see my photography, I'm kind of like a kid with finger painting and hey, mom, look, mom. Hey, look, everybody. That's me with my photography. I just want to show people my photography. If you like to see it, it's Shenanigans Studios and Gallery, and I don't make a penny off any of this stuff. In fact, I don't sell anything. I just let people see my stuff, right? But if I sell anything, it would go through the charity organization anyway. So, Shenanigans Studios and Gallery. You can see my stuff. What was the point I'm trying to make? If you have any questions about photography, I love them. Now, there's a question right here. I love this question. Have you ever done photography at the Mock Loop? I know exactly what you're talking about. In fact, I saw one today. That's how much I like the Mock Loop. I think there's another one called the Death Star Run or something like that in Death Valley. Man, they got like foreign aircraft coming and visiting and doing that canyon run. It is, man, those guys, I got a good camera. Those guys have state-of-the-art cameras there. And I can tell, I can hear the front. They got DLSRs, and you can hear that thing going. Things. Mine's only like, I don't know, 8 frames a second, which sounds great to me. I can get a lot of, and I can shoot raw. But these guys are shooting like, they're shooting with the real expensive Canons. Mine's the one tier under. I know, tough life, yeah, right. Yeah, I do shoot with my 70 to 200 when I go to air shows, okay? It's a 2.8 L series lens. EF. Great lens. That was a third generation on those, and no complaints. It's built solid. All right, man. Thing is, I've been sick for a little while, like really sick. Like I've been in this chair a lot. Even if I'm hospitalized, I'm in this chair. I get hospitalized in this chair, and I'm getting better. For the last, it's been a long road to hoe. I've been trying to dig myself out of this hole for a while, and I do believe I'm getting better. I've tested that I haven't lost any more lung capacity, so that's good. So the problems I have, and I can't breathe, I just got to get that junk out. So I can get better because I got a lot of traveling to go do, and going and seeing these aircraft at the Mock Loop. I got me a brand new RV trailer, and I'll stick that onto my SUV, and I'll go traveling. I would love to go do that. Go see Rob and his family of bears keep in the woods there. Man, we doing good, man. We got like 25. You believe that we got 25 folks watching us, watching our beautiful faces here on this channel. All right.
I might have to bug out pretty soon, man. I'm starting to get smoked.
All right, that good. All right, folks. Let me go through the questions real quick. If there's any other ones. Do aliens probes hurt the neither region?
What? I missed that.
Right. How'd you miss that? Right.
Raz was asking if cheap cameras are good enough for recording.
I wouldn't know. However, I know that they, whoever they are, we'll just call them ETs. Okay, let's skip the show here. Yeah, the ETs, they assault people legally. You cannot put your hands on somebody without their express permission. These people are taken, so they're kidnapped. I know September 1st, 1969 in Berkshire, Massachusetts, a buttload of people were taken. A lot of men, a lot of women, and a lot of children were taken, and they were assaulted. And they were returned in not the same place that they were taken in some cases. Hundreds of witnesses. This should be on every network TV. This is an unbelievable, it's a crazy story, but it really happened. Check it out on Unsolved Mystery Season 1, second to the last, I believe, episodes on Netflix. Okay, next question. So we are waiting to get all the ducks lined up before we plan our second hearing. Yeah. Lou came on to my channel and said, hey, you may recognize who. So what does that tell you? That tells me there's some talking, communicating going on. Because Lou has it just, we don't talk shop, right? So I have to speculate. Just use common sense. So that means maybe there's communicating and there's possibly they're lining people up. Maybe there's some verbiage going in to hopefully get some folks, give them immunity. That whatever they say at that non-disclosure agreement, man, they can talk about it. That's what I'd like to see. All right, let's go on down. See if any more questions. Rob, what kind of dog do you have? You know, you mentioned it earlier. What kind is it?
Cur, C-U-R, is the breed. They're a southern pioneer dog. That some of them are trained for hunting squirrels and little critters, and some of them, the bigger ones, are trained to hunt bigger critters. Hopefully, she's already about 50 pounds, and she's still a puppy. I think she's gonna be decent sized, but I don't want any of them trying to take on that bear. I think my cat actually did. She was always yelling. If somebody remembers her from the other streams I've been on, where she wouldn't shut up, trying to get outside. For a week now, she's not said a word, and she will not. I cannot throw her out the door without her coming back in. I know damn well she caught up with that bear somewhere outside, and it wasn't a dog, and she's kind of a cocky little thing. She probably tried to swat her on the nose, and she's probably lucky it didn't eat her. And it may have even tried to eat her, but she's fast. But funny thing about that, the last night she went out there and got terrorized, I was out there for 2.5 hours with my tack light and my cell phone looking for her dumb ass in my forest, and I thought I was tracking her, but I was probably tracking this damn bear. That's kind of spooky, but yeah.
Oh God. Hey, have you seen Rob? Has he texted you lately? No, he's dead in the forest. He's getting ate by a bear. That's what I don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I thought I was tracking my cat, but a bear going through the woods, they can walk very stealthy. They make these, if you've ever lived out in the woods or been out there, animals leave trails where they eventually wear it down to where they can go through the brush, and they leave tunnels through so they don't make a lot of sound. A deer running away through the brush will make a lot of noise if it's got antlers and stuff and just really trying to get out of harm's way. But a bear and stuff, they'll keep going through the same passages. So, it's very likely I was tracking a bear through there, and I thought it was after my stupid cat, because they would make about the same noise walking through those paths. So yeah, that's pretty hilarious, but terrifying.
Yep. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. Hit that notification for upcoming unannounced videos. We don't have a schedule. We just do this when we feel good. We got a wild hair up our butt. Hey, let's do this. Because we're going to probably talk on the phone anyway. So about this time. So Rob, do you have any last comments? Any parting ways?
For the new listeners, most of this community know each other for a while now, and I'd like to think we try and build a community that at least are civil to each other, and we have people from all walks of life. Some are experiencers, some are some are probably government at some point, investigators, who knows. But but they're genuine people. And to those that are new here, give us a chance as we grow this channel and get to know these people. If you got answers, we've got a hell of a crew in here that can answer any question from experiencing, abductions to physics, you name it. They have a wealth of information to draw from. So, catch us next time, ask your questions, and I'm sure they'll be glad to answer. Bob, I'm very glad to see you talking and contributing and asking some questions, which I know you were perfectly capable of, but people didn't give you a chance before. I really enjoy having these conversations with you. But, I enjoy any conversation with you, Bob. I get a kick out of you, man. You're good people. You all are. So, yeah.
I can vouch for him because he talks about you to me on the phone. So talking about what a great guy you are. And other than that, would that be it there, Rob?
Yep. I'm smoked, right, man. Keep the fork in me.
All right, later.